galaxy near you.
Greetings, Bill Nye here. Please consider the following. You have to vote, everybody. North Carolina, you have to vote. You have to vote Harris Walz because the climate is changing. Our climate is changing. North Carolina is going to suffer from sea level rises. We have sunny day floods. We have mudslides. That's all a result of the world warming because you and I are living in it. So we got to make changes. The other side, as I like to call it, does not even acknowledge that climate change is happening, let alone have a plan for it. So everybody, let's vote Harris Walz, and then North Carolina is that close to going blue. If North Carolina can get its electoral votes to go for Harris, North Carolina will, dare I say it, change the world. Thank you for joining me on Consider the Following.
Coming from a galaxy near you, this is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
And Lauren E.
Yo!
Hi.
Hello! Yay!
Thank you. Hi, friends.
Hello.
Cheers! And that was a surprise to me too, y'all. It's a surprise to y'all. It's a surprise to me. It's not a surprise to them because they planned this debauchery. So, explain your debauchery, Doug. Why? Where the hell are you, and what the hell's going on?
All right. So my wife had to work in California and asked if I could come with. And since I work remotely, I could do that. So we came in, we flew into LA, and we were only there for a day. So couldn't hang out with anybody in LA like our infamous friend, Zach Rosenberg.
He won't yell at you.
Yeah, who would be yelling at me in real life. And then we had to come up to the Bay Area and talk to Lauren. Said, "Hey, you want us to meet up?" And she was like, "Yeah." And thankfully, and so we're here together. I'm literally a couple of blocks from Lauren's place, so that's where we're staying. So worked out pretty well.
I'm so excited.
Fun. Doug, what's the fun in the glass over there?
Well, we haven't opened ours yet, so we're going to be doing all California beers. So this is the Nogzinger Double IPA. This is from Drake's Brewing Company.
Love drinks.
Not
All
that
right.
Drake.
Yeah, not that Drake.
No.
He's not like us. So big tall boy, but since Laura and I are going to be splitting beers tonight, here we go.
Oh, you got a beer buddy tonight. I'm jealous.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't have glasses to really show what the beer looks like. So apologies on that. But yeah, we'll get both
It's
of
not
our.
about what it look. Yeah, and it's not about what it looks like. It's what about it tastes. So
Yeah, cheers. So, cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Probably a minor.
I've finally gotten to experience a Doug full pour.
You got the.
The full is impressive.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Well, in Czechoslovakia, those are the fancy beers, right, Doug?
Yeah,
I had
that's
one
for
of those
sure.
recently. In a boot.
In a boot.
Fine.
Not in a
Big.
glass boot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
I was
head
gonna
like
say a
this
regular
big.
boot. Gross.
No, I'm not into that.
Go, Craig. Sorry.
Head like this big. Head like this big. It's great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, so this is classic double IPA. Like a little bit hoppy, a little bit sweet. Like I like it. Pretty good. It is a little bit heavy on the ABV. It's almost 10%. So thankfully, we're splitting this.
That's fair. I forget that sometimes.
Y'all, I mean, if that's where you're starting, I don't know where this evening's
Yeah,
going.
that's the largest ABV beer we're having tonight, just for the record. But
Probably the way to go.
yeah. So head no. What do you have in the glass?
I'm-
Right? 'Cause I saw
I'm
something.
easing into the night with the Kid Kolsch, Doug. You've had this.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Mhm.
I had
That'll
that when
be
you
from
gave
New
that.
Glarus. Yeah.
Everything.
It's a good one. It's our friend Chris Drosner's, well, one of his favorite beers. He's
True.
the beer baron, so he probably has 10.
Yeah, probably has all of the new.
But you know how this one goes, Doug. You know how this
Yep.
one goes. This one is fresh. It's beer, tastes like beer, crisp, awesome, wonderful. It's New Glarus. They hit everything. Yeah. Of course Daniel knows. Daniel knows every beer in the world.
He knows that all of them. So.
Yeah. So we have a packed show. We have Lauren. I didn't even know. So that's amazing. Lauren, you get to partake in all the fun things that are going to happen tonight. I hope fun. We're going to start with this. I don't know if this is fun, but we're going to go there.
Bring it.
This has been one of the craziest weeks ever for news, y'all. So we're just going to do rapid fire. Y'all fire out your comments, and we'll just get there real soon. So I found this very, very interesting and mostly amusing, but interesting. Is this headline? I woke up this morning to see this, Doug. So apparently Donald Trump went to an anti-Semitic conference talking about anti-Semitism, and then proceeded to be anti-Semitic. So even the people on the right, like Drudge, we know where he's coming from, y'all. We know his angle. And he puts out this headline and this weirdly timed picture, and it all kind of is cringe, dog. You have any comments on that? And Lauren?
Lauren, you want to go first?
I forget about this segment sometimes, and I'm not prepared, and am both shocked and appalled, and also somehow not shocked. And what? How is this the timeline we're in? How is this our timeline?
Dog?
I'm with Lauren. He is in. There's a thing that Bill Simmons, the sports writer, said he calls it the Mike Tyson zone, where Mike Tyson got to a point where you could say he did anything and you would absolutely believe it. And I am at that. That's where Trump is. You could say he did anything, and I would absolutely any crazy shit.
Of course he did.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, why
Which
not?
is not good, but also.
And well, and then he followed it up. He followed it up with this, y'all. So I don't.
Oh my God!
Is he just?
This is what they call. This is what the young kids call crashing out. I think, right?
Yeah. Does he think this is helping? What is happening? He's just coming for all the big everybody.
Yeah.
Is it helpful?
Yeah. And it's always timely with, what they say about Harris, because I don't know if y'all saw it. They had the wonderful town hall meeting last night, and that was really excellent. I don't know if y'all saw it. And you could tell it hurt the man's ego. So that's kind of what happened there. We have this, which is not a surprise. I mean, none of this is a surprise, so I'm not really here to surprise y'all. But if this all happened at once, and it's this craziness, we have this again. Seems to be a pattern with this guy. I mean,
also that look is like a cheesy real estate guy.
I think it's Beavis, but yeah.
The shape. There's the hair shape. I don't want to hate on Ken of Barbie and Ken, but it's got a real Ken hair vibe.
Oh yeah.
I did.
Ken.
All of this.
I mean, Ken was an asshole in the movie, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair.
Oh my word! What is going on?
But are we going to get to a point to where we get some justice for this guy, or whatever? Anyway,
I don't know.
And then we have this guy. Actually, we have this guy. Who, the question here I love at the top is the GOP candidate has always been anti-Semitic. Why are y'all worried about it now? Why is it now? Wait, do you have an answer, Doug? He's been lieutenant governor forever. He's been running for governor forever. Yeah. And y'all picked last week to try to. What's going on, Doug?
I don't care when it was released. There's always a thing called the October surprise. This is a September surprise. He said this on porn forums where he was known to go look at trans porn as a guy who is vehemently against trans people. The jokes write themselves.
It's like the things where the drama shows that were what was it? Scandal and all of those where they were writing crazy timelines and then they had to pull back because they were too close to reality. I feel like reality has jumped the shark and like all of us are like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
That's just, we're there. We're in like that part of reality now. And there's just no rhyme or reason to anything because we've overdone it.
Yeah, and they were trying to, like the Republicans were trying to get him to drop out and he refused. Stay in. Stay in. Good. Reap what you sow.
I agree with him. Why should I drop out now when y'all knew I was an asshole the whole time? So I'm kind of.
Yeah.
And the people in North Carolina voted for this guy, so I'm disturbed by all that too. By the way, so not all of the people, of course, but
well, the guy he's running against has a pretty substantial lead against him in North Carolina. So
I hope, but we know how polls go. So
yeah, exactly.
On a lighter note, because there's this, I mean, and there's more too. We got a journalist who likes to sleep with people that she is supposedly reporting on. We have other GOP people on Ashley Madison. We have Robinson on Ashley Madison using the same email as he used for public. I mean, these people, you just can't make any. Doug, did you say you just can't make this shit up? You can't. It's just not. And then Lauren's like, what timeline are we on? I mean, again, I don't know, y'all. I'm confused.
Okay. Also, like, I don't condone shit, but also, like, y'all, you're gonna do this. Why so sloppy?
Like, so sloppy?
Like, I don't think it should happen anyway. But like, this is messy. If you're gonna be shady about some, like, why? Get it together in one way or another.
I think that should be our show slogan from here on out. Why so sloppy?
Oh, maybe we could do a segment. Lauren, I'll talk to you on the side.
Why so sloppy?
Oh, no.
Segment. Let's go. It's over. It's done. Love slavery, Mr. Robinson.
Yeah, he did say that he would be fine with slavery coming back, which is. Oh, yeah.
Well, he wanted to own slaves, Doug. He wanted to own black people.
I own a few.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So I don't know. So on a lighter note, y'all, we're gonna get out of here. Yeah, we don't. No. We don't want to lead into our guest, or maybe a kind of a lighter note. We don't want to lead into our guest with some negativity, Doug. We want to be positive. Fair. She's a very positive and bright person and energetic, and we don't want to weigh this whole thing down by that. But so we'll get to this. Is my next one I got is I found this interesting that the Wall Street Journal thought it was interesting to write why Boise, Idaho might be secretly the coolest place in Northwest. Now we know the context that they're talking about, Doug. The context is Idaho's kind of crazy, and they got
Idaho's a lot crazy.
Premises up at the top, and they're fully red. And so I have an acquaintance who lives in. I have an acquaintance who live in Boise, and I sent this to her, and her response was, quote, "I hate when people try to normalize Boise and make it cool," end quote. So, so I just think I just thought it was interesting that Boise was interesting like that. I will never say never as far as going to Boise because, Doug, you know I love the state right next to it, Montana, and I will be trying to go to I'm always trying to go to Montana, if that makes sense, just because it's so beautiful. I know it's a heavily red state. I know it's, you know what I mean, out there and all that, but it's just beautiful and the people are nice. So I will maybe make it to Boise one day. Doug, I know that you don't like to visit red states, but Lauren, have you ever been to Boise? Would you ever go? Doug, what do you feel about Boise? About the little that we know.
I'm open to travel. My cousin went to Boise State and I still never went there. So I will TBD. What's there? What is there? What else is there?
There's a blue football field for Boise
That's
State.
True.
If you like weird football fields, that's you can't look around and Boise is considered cool. Chris, you are not wrong.
Again, the timeline we're in. It's confusing for everyone. Maybe, but someone tell me maybe I need to read this article and it can tell me why it's cool.
And And real quick, Doug, I think it's wild when sometimes these eastern places actually recognize a place west of the Mississippi. Like, hey, there's a place actually called Idaho. So that's kind of the part of the lore of what I was talking about. But yeah, it's out there, like we've never been there, but we'll write about it. But anyway, go, Doug.
Yeah. Also, I have a question. Is Idaho considered the Pacific Northwest? It's like it borders Oregon and Washington, but like it's just that stupid little strip.
Like the really tall part.
Yeah, like I don't know where Boise is in Idaho, but like it feels like that's, to me, the Pacific Northwest is basically like Oregon and Washington.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'm wrong.
That's
I'm going to
fair.
get in trouble for this, but if Ohio's the Midwest, then Idaho could be the Northwest.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
As a person in the West, I don't know if I would I don't immediately think Idaho as Pacific Northwest, but on Greg's constraints and rulings, Pacific Northwest-ish.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And Doug, we're back to East Coast people. They don't really know what the hell's going on out west.
Yeah,
so like, it's all the same to them.
Goes both ways. Like there's so many states in such a small area.
Yeah, I never say never because I never thought that I would ever go to Montana. So, and I was there. And I never thought that I would drive through literally the whole state by myself. I never thought that would ever happen, and it did. So never say never. But I don't ever think I'll make it to Boise. But if I go to Idaho, it will probably only be Boise.
I think that might be the only place you might be safe. Otherwise, you should drive with tinted windows to make sure you're okay.
We'll go with it. Listen, man, I can get guns. Come on now.
Yeah, you could.
Okay. Or if the necessary road trip materials are, I could acquire a gun. Is that
right?
Is that a good choice?
So lastly, I'm going to try to make this one a little bit lighthearted. Try to keep it a little lighthearted, but it's really not. So sorry, y'all. But so a rare polar bear showed up on the shores of Iceland, y'all, and the police shot him. So my line of fire here is, well, at least it's not America that, police are just gun crazy and just, shoot everything. And couldn't y'all do something like, don't we have dart guns, and couldn't we dart a gun at him and pick him up and put him back where he belonged? Or what the fuck is going on, y'all? Y'all have anything on this one?
All I can think of is the context of that. Was it near people? And the problem is polar bears can be pretty aggressive, especially if they're hungry. They're more at least that's what Joel always tells me, because she's more of a bear expert than I am. So she just laughed in the background.
Bear expert.
Yes.
You are way more versed in what bears are dangerous and what are not. So
That's fair. I don't have a resident bear expert in my vicinity usually.
you do.
Well, currently, but typically, so I don't know a lot about how to respond to this, except for it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Cops always are on. So at least it's not American cops that are on some bullshit generally. Again, maybe there was someone in danger and they had to do it. And I don't know. I read the article and it just annoyed me, so I stopped halfway through. It just annoyed me. I was like, I don't even care what's true. I'm just going to make up what's in my head, like everybody else seems to do, and then just.
It was probably just two people in a polar bear suit, and now it's fine, and it's all a facade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, happy Friday to everybody. So without further ado, y'all, that was what the fuck news. It's
20
been
minutes
something,
in.
y'all.
I feel like we haven't scratched the surface yet.
Yeah, and also
it's been something.
cannot believe the amount of what the fuck news we've got.
1 week. So yeah, good job, Craig.
Yeah. So without further ado, it's time for our guest, Doug. So our guest is our friend and can we call her our internet friend, Doug? Our internet acquaintance.
Sure.
Yeah. Heather Pavich. She's very, very educated. She's highly educated here. I don't know, Doug, if you want to read this or you you booked this guest, so we usually let you do the intro.
Yeah. So Heather is I'm going to try to read this. I'm wearing glasses and the screen is really small because I'm not on my normal setup.
Make it up.
You want me to make it up? All right, cool. Here we go. She's shaking her head yes. She is a polar bear expert, and
Really?
no.
Oh,
No.
okay.
The reason I wanted to have her on was
Really?
sorry, that would have been great if it was. That would have been such a great tie-in, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would have been great, Doug. That would have just been great. Like, what the
Yes. The reason why I had her on is because she is the co-owner and founder of a group that does therapy for family therapy, which she does it in. And the reason it was interesting to me is she's doing that in Florida, which of a state that is not well known for taking care of its folks who have mental health issues, at least from an outside perspective, which she could speak to better than me. I wanted to have her on so we could kind of talk through that because, one, it's interesting and we want to address mental health and make sure we're letting people know that they have resources, and she has resources in Florida. So that was me. She also has a smattering of supernatural fandom that we're going to touch a bit on because I know nothing about that show and she knows way more than I do. So, yep. Daniel,
wait. BCBA. So, Doug, I don't know if you know, I have problems with acronyms. I
have no idea what that means. Bourbon County Barrel Aged.
Right.
Our guest might know. I don't.
Yeah, our guest would actually probably know what this is, so maybe we should bring her on.
You stole that. But yeah, so this is her so real quick, y'all, before we get her this is her sorry, Doug will correct me if I say it wrong. Her Twitter account.
Thank you.
This is her Twitter account. This is how we found her. Or she found us or something. I don't know. She could probably tell us about that. So y'all jump over there, Heather _Pavich, y'all. So jump over there when you can. But yeah, she's a BCBA, which she's going to tell us about. But Doug, what I really liked about her this thing real quick is, and Lauren, you probably realize this about me too. She's a behavior analyst. So I'd assume that she analyzes people's behavior. And you know what? I want to know all about people's behavior. Y'all are wilding.
What do you mean, y'all? You're part of y'all.
Oh, I am. Every part. And I'm wilding too. So, Doug, you can do the thing so that we don't step on each other. And welcome.
Hey, Heather, welcome.
Yay.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, welcome. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, good. How about what do you have in your glass? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking my go-to cocktail, a Negroni. I made it with, I'm good with a Hendrix. A Hendrix is fine with me, but my husband got this one recently, and it's really good.
Gunpowder. Yeah.
I know your gin.
Doug, you know that one?
Oh yeah, I like gin a lot, so that's a pretty good one. It's interesting because it's gunpowder gin is pretty specific for a lot of different cocktails, depending on what you make. So yeah. Tell your husband, excellent choice. Not that he needs to hear that from me.
I will let him know. He's in the adjacent room. So thank you. Yeah.
So you're not a polar bear expert? You sure?
I do love some polar bears. They can be violent, but that was very sad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Hey, why you gotta bring it back?
Why does it have to be dead on the beach? Like,
yeah. Can it just be like, can we just do like a angry bear like stock photo?
Yeah. Like one like right before it mauls people. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or cartoon. Give me a cartoon. I don't know.
It's Negroni week?
No.
It's actually perfect. I was like, can we research this?
Is it really?
I don't think I've ever had one.
Okay, what's in it?
A Negroni is gin, Campari, and vermouth.
Wait, why do you draw the why? What does that mean?
Campari is a liqueur that I am not a giant fan of, and it's a pretty polarizing one. I think a lot of people either love Negronis or you don't. So
yeah, but Doug likes Malort though, so who cares? Doug likes Malort.
Yeah,
What do I like?
Malort.
I do not like Malort. Malort sucks. I drink it for the show. How about that? All right. Greg, go ahead. What do you have for our guest Heather here?
You're supposed to. You're.
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay. So let's talk about Summit Therapies a bit. That's your company that you co-own and co-founded. So what led you to do that? Where was it a need? Was it just something you were passionate about, or both, or how did that come about?
I think it was just something that kind of evolved naturally. My business partner and I, Kimberly, we have worked for the same person who we dearly love for over 20 years now. And she has been just an amazing, resource for us and kind of guided us through our careers. Kimberly and I both started in special education. So we were both special education teachers. We both hold our masters in special education. And then we came and worked for Joanna as behavior analysts. And we've worked together for a long time. And it just sort of naturally evolved that we knew we kind of wanted to do something a little different that our current company that we work for wasn't doing, which is we wanted to open a clinic and have some just different options. There are different types of behavior support. I think probably the most known is clinic support. So a lot of children, when they're diagnosed, especially young, they are referred to behavioral clinics and they go for intensive behavior therapy. What we did with the other company we work with is we did in-home. So that is more, we go to where we're needed. So we don't have one central office space. We go to the schools, the work sites, the community placement, wherever our clients need us is where we go. And so Kim and I wanted to offer that, but with a clinic option as well. And then after working with a couple clients, just my own individual clients for about 2 years, Kim and I kind of brainstormed the idea of expanding it and offering swim therapy for children with unique abilities. We are certified from about 4 months and up, but we work with 4 years old and up is what we prefer to. That's what we feel comfortable with. And we don't want to be, uncomfortable working with a small child for many reasons. But we started that this summer and it was a really great learning experience for both of us. And we were able to work with a bunch of really amazing kids. And it's very much a passion project for us. We live in Florida and you're not going to go more than 50 feet without hitting some type of water. And children need to know how to swim, especially children with unique abilities. And unfortunately, that population doesn't get served a lot because they can sometimes have a hard time in standard swim classes where it's a group of kids and it's, everyone does the same instruction and it can be loud. It can be overstimulating and it can be not really at their pace. And so what we offered was more of a one-on-one, we're going to work at your child's pace and we're going to get them safe in the water. And so we started that this summer. So it's kind of been an evolving business. And so it's been fun to see it kind of grow and bloom this past year. So I think, Doug, that's where you've seen some of my posts, some of my excitement, and then some of my frustrations with the business ownership part of it.
That's how growth works. Business ownership, like every other day, like it's great, and then 2 hours from there, like this is terrible.
Why did I sign up for this?
Like, is this is not what I thought. I was going to ask you kind of sort of covered, but I was just going to ask about. Like you said, Florida, but like why? Like, were you swim certified? Or like, were you a swimmer? Were you a lifeguard? Like, why swim specifically? Again, I get Florida, and like there is a lot of water, but if that was a realm or not a realm of yours, like where that inspiration?
I was a swimmer growing up. I swam all through middle school and high school. I loved being in the water. I enjoyed it. It's something that brings me joy. And I see that, I love kids that like to be in the water. And a lot of every child that reached out to us, their parents signed them up for the class, said, my kid loves to be in the water. They love to be in the water. They're just not safe.
Yeah.
And that's a concern. We unfortunately had several children this summer alone who drowned here in our state. And it's just such an unnecessary loss because it's completely preventable. So that was another driving, it's like a personal passion thing for me. Like I said, I started working with one client one-on-one because he had been a client of mine through behavior. And his mom was saying how he was enrolled in a swim school and how it was not successful for him. And it has nothing to do at all with the swim school. I have no qualms with the swim school. They have a curriculum and they follow and they're doing good. So they're doing great. it's just, sometimes it needs to be tailored specifically to children. And so I told the mom, I said, I'm willing to get certified. I'm willing to do this. And she was excited for that. And so it started with one client, and I worked with him, like I said, for like 2 back-to-back summers. And we saw such great progress. And then I heard so many, I would, mention it to other people, and they were like, why don't you do this for more children? Like, why aren't you doing this? Why isn't this a whole company? And so that's what kind of like is the whole, like, why isn't this bigger? Why aren't you doing more? And so we're trying. That's where we're headed.
I love the organicness of that, and like that, like where like it sits in your past or interest or whatever, but you're like, it wasn't like, I'm gonna do the thing. You're like, someone asked and we figured it out, and you're like, wait, there's like a whole need and it works. That's where I love the magic of that. And I sounds like it again really worked and was very useful. So that's amazing. And I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it was, if you would have said 5 years ago, this is where we would be, we probably both would have laughed. I think him and I both would have said, no.
Like, sure, whatever.
Yeah. And so it's been fun. We both agree that we really liked it. We're hoping to expand more and get more staff trained. Our staff has expressed interest in it and said that sounds like fun. I mean, Florida's the perfect environment to do it, because if you're outside in Florida during summer, you want to be in a pool.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's hot.
Greg?
Yeah. So jumping off of what Lauren says, I just want to share a little bit here. Because this is how it should work, and this is how it should be done. Meaning, you enter, an area of observation work, and you find out where there's a need, and then you fulfill that need. And this is how humanity works. If we all would work together like this, it would be a much better place than we are. And we have a great, we are, our society is not perfect. Everybody knows this, but at the same time, it's people like Heather and her, her partners that are the model, Doug, for me, as far as how to operate and how to really help people on the ground. So hats off to you, Heather, for that. Love it, love it. The story's wonderful, and we support Doug. Thanks for booking Heather after you found out. Sometimes I'm just too all over the place to even pay attention to what anybody else is doing, and I apologize to that. But I'm American too, and all of y'all Americans, so y'all in the same boat. Like, what did I say before? Y'all Wilden, and Lauren's like, who? You're part of Wilden. Yes, I am. I'm not even gonna deny. But Heather, I love that part of it. I want to speak to you about, can we go back to how did you get this education to do the things that you do, and what drove you to do that part is like the real thing, because behavior analysis sounds really cool. It also sounds frustrating as all hell, because the way people behave in this world, as we saw on the What the Fuck News, some of y'all, I just want to be done with y'all, and I want to crawl up into a ball and have a barrel-aged beer, Doug, and watch Love is Blind on replay, because I just want to crawl into my thing. So Heather, how did you women take the hardest jobs in this world too. Women will do jobs that men are like, no, I ain't trying to do that. And women are like, I'll jump in and help the kids and do all that motherly stuff. And men are like, I'm gonna go over here and push dirt and make a building or something. Anyway, yeah, stereotypes all day long here, Doug. I'm the stereotype guy. Anyway, Heather, save me from my crazy self, please, and answer the long-winded question if you remember what it was.
So how I fell into this was I just, it was so organic. Like Lauren said, I just sort of fell into this. I went to college for an education degree. And at that time when I was getting my bachelor's, I wanted to be a job coach. And the requirements for a job coach were a bachelor's degree plus 2 years experience, which I had at that point in graduation. And the week before I graduated, they changed the requirements. So I became a teacher. I was like, well, guess I'm going to do that. So I ended up teaching, and I had a great mentor through teaching named Gina, and she's just been a light through everything. She was my my junior internship teacher, and then her and I worked together. I started in elementary school. I did a year and a half of that, and tapped out. Moved on to middle school.
I get it. Worked at elementary school for like 10 years. I get it.
Listen, there's only so many times you can hear that song, like when they're trying to get them quiet in the hallway. You put a bubble in your mouth. I'm like, I will go insane. So I moved on to middle school, and then the state actually had an initiative that if you were teaching a self-contained room for children with autism, you had to have a certification in that disability, in autism. So they paid me to get my master's.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Like I got a master's, and they wrote me a check for it. And then through all this, through my bachelor's, I worked for the person I still work with. Her name is Joanna, and she is magical. And I was a respite provider, which is basically similar to like caregiving, but for children with special needs. And so I'd been working with her, and she kept saying, like, why don't you become a behavior analyst? And I kept saying, because I'm never going to get a master's degree. I have no desire to continue my education. I'm not the scholarly type. It's not in my nature. And so the night I graduated with my master's degree, we were at a bar downtown Orlando, and I ran into a behavior analyst I work with in the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
And the magic.
And the first thing she said to me was, "Are you a behavior analyst yet?" And I said, "No, but I graduated with my master's." And so I signed up to pursue my education and become a behavior analyst that night after that conversation, and then continued working in education. I completed 10 years in the county schools, and I loved it. I have great memories from it. Obviously, there are things that I didn't love, and, I would change. Ultimately, I left because I love the anonymity of my job. I love making my own schedule. I love choosing who I get to work with. Whether that's my coworkers, the families, the clients, the areas, I get to choose all of that. I was a new mom. I had just had my first son. So having a 4-month-old and choosing, I want to work, but I only want to work 2 days a week because that's when I can find childcare. All of that led to that decision, and it's what's kept me here and kind of led, like I said, kind of how Kim and I, so through that path is how I met Kim, but that is how I fell into becoming a behavior analyst.
Nice.
Can I just really quickly just say, because I don't want to speak for Heather's experience, but I do feel like there's just something about magic in the women's bathroom sometimes where people are very supportive, or the things where you're like, oh my God, a connection that has happened, or you're like, I was just thinking about that thing. Something about the women's restroom. It's just a place where stuff happens. In a weird way, everybody just can focus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in a weird way. It was more just hey, are you on the career path you need to be on? Because if not,
behavior analyst in the of course, the time I just did the master's, not quite, but the times that the things happen, it's weird magic. Don't be weird.
It has led to me saying that I won't say never, because all of those situations that led up to that, I had said, I will never do this. I will never get a master's degree. I will never teach in the schools. I will never be a behavior analyst. No, at this point, I'm it's not.
Maybe
we won't use that word.
Yeah.
I also was I never want to own my own business. I also now own my own business. I don't know. If you want something to happen, apparently say never.
Never. It's the opposite of manifesting. It's a reverse manifesting. It's the universe going, watch this.
Reverse psychology, but reverse manifesting. Nice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, I do. I never want to find $1 million.
Yeah, that would be the worst.
Oh man, that'd be terrible.
So terrible.
Hey Greg, you got a second beer, dude. Let's get to it.
Oh, yeah.
You have a second beer?
Yeah, I do. I'm doing something I should have done 3 days ago, but it's all good.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and then you got a second one, right, Doug?
I do. Well, we do.
Okay, I got a hazy little IPA cosmic little thing. This is a Sierra Nevada, y'all, hazy double IPA. I'm pretty sure this is available almost everywhere, y'all.
Yep.
Sierra Nevada is almost available everywhere. It's a big 8.0 hazy double, kind of like the one that y'all kind of started with. And I know Lauren loves some hazy IPAs. I know Doug really doesn't, but who cares what Doug thinks on this one? Hazy IPAs are amazing, and this one's another great one. So good times, y'all.
All right.
Nice. Your turn.
Are you ready?
Probably not.
This is going to be a big beer.
Okay,
Big
let's
beer,
do
not
this.
an ABV, but in flavor. So when I was in the Sierra Nevadas with Joe, we went to a place called Bear Tent Brewing Company. This is Viking Ale called Plate of Uller. It's 6.1%.
Okay.
So this is, well, I don't want to ruin it because I want to see if you can guess what the flavors are in it.
So make me guess. I'm not like prepared for this.
Do this.
I'll say words.
I gave you hints earlier.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Jill did give you
Do I
hints.
remember? I haven't. The eating before the beer has been few and far between. We'll see what happens.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
Yikes.
I have to describe words. What did she say?
Words.
Describe words.
There you go.
Use words to describe.
Not even a lot of foam on that one. You
I
should
know.
be proud.
You did great.
Cheers.
Smell
Smell of it and tell me what you smell.
So let's do this. I gotta like.
Okay, like nothing.
Yeah.
Some people love it. I do. Like I smelled it and then I remembered
What you'll say.
notes. Feels real grassy. Immediate grassy. If you're into that.
So, real quick on Heather's before we get there. Heather, I feel that there are many people who fall into the position. It's not clear path or marketing to BCBA, in my opinion.
True.
Flavors.
Yeah, that's true. There's not a lot. There aren't a lot of colleges. There are more now, but there weren't even a lot of college options for me to become certified.
Wow.
Now there are colleges that offer a master's in behavior analysis. It was very rare when I got certified because I'm one of the now seniors in the field.
Yeah, and there should be.
Yeah, I mean,
people's behavior. Again, I'm not. Lauren, speaking of your behavior, what was going on over there with the beer?
Yeah. Tell us what you think.
Flavor. I was like, can I be specific? I don't usually have normal words, so I'm gonna say words. It's got immediately like, you know how some people really like fresh cut grass. It's got that vibe, but like that's okay. It's not bad, but like that's not one of my go-to aroma scents. The flavor is not as grassy, but still a little grassy. There's like a weird. It's like not citrus, but like something else happening. Help.
That's
Oh, I know
why
what it is.
I asked you if you like gin.
That's why, because it's made
Got
with
an herbal-
juniper berry.
and in the mash they put boughs, pine boughs in it.
Just like branches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. So it's like grassy with a little bit of like juniper rosemary vibes. I don't know. It's herbaceous. Okay,
Very
that's
herbaceous.
because it's like grassy, but like not as grassy in a gross way, but in like a herby way.
Manny said as long as it doesn't taste like doo doo.
No, I
No,
don't
it
want
does
to.
not.
Manny, why would you even? Now I'm thinking about it.
All I will say is, like, when Jill and I had this, we were both like, this is one of the most unique beers.
It is unique.
Like
But it's
we've had.
also like it's weird because it's like not a flavor that I've had, and it's not aggressive. It's like a subtle version of all the things that I'm saying.
You're gonna pour your wife.
Wonderful.
I love I love grass scent. Does anyone remember when Gap had grass perfume? Please tell me someone out there.
Yes, I loved it.
My wife is talking from the background, so
Same.
What?
But
Same.
like the voice from the back is into it.
My little sister and I used to spray that all over the place. Our house constantly smelled like fresh cut lawn. Yeah.
Greg is like really baffled. Maybe this is a white people thing.
I was like, I also
think
am
you're gonna
baffled.
like
I was like, it's fine. It's a very specific sense.
I mean, probably.
So
All right.
Doug literally took the words out of my mouth. So, but thank you for saying it. So I didn't have to.
The white person had to say it was great.
So here's a question then. Heather, do you buy like the candles that have like fresh cut grass scents for your house?
Are there candles for that?
If I could find it, I would. Yeah.
Is there
I'm more like I like a more, I think, like clean
fresh linen?
like I like a fresh linen or a nice, I like different scents in different areas in our room. I like a heavier like sandalwood and mahogany, like a deep
rich mahogany.
like rich mahogany.
like a little
Hey, Ron
muskier.
Burgundy, what are you doing over here?
I'm trying to create a vibe energy, Doug.
All right.
It works 100% of the
is
time,
that-
80% of the time.
So is that what we're doing now, though? Is that what we're doing now, Doug? So like,
What?
so now when like
sorry.
you go out on a date and you meet someone and you roll up on her and she smells like grass, what do you do? What?
I was 12, first of all.
Heather's feeling attacked, y'all.
First of all.
you just forced Greg off the screen. That doesn't happen up here.
First of all.
Some people are to each their own.
I don't currently wear grass scented things.
Wait, did you wear a grass scented thing or was it No, because you said it was a perfume. It was a
It was a perfume. It was a perfume. It was like in a little tiny gray
Was it
can.
called grass?
Yeah. Hold, I'm gonna find it. Hold on.
Wow. Now that could be interpreted a few ways. That could smell
I
like
guess
patchouli or it could smell like fresh cut grass.
Either way, I don't know. That's a target demographic that I don't think I'm part of.
That's because you don't like nature.
Not wrong. Nature's cool. It's fine.
You didn't expect it to go this way, did you, Greg?
Sorry,
we
Greg.
literally have a behavior analysis person with grass.
There's the perfume.
It's got a green flavor color.
Hey, you should put that in the chat. Like,
It's vintage.
if you can, and then that way we can do it.
Okay. Okay.
And then Greg can display the link. So that
Your
people can
girl
buy it.
old, okay? I was young, and yes, it is vintage.
It's vintage.
Okay, so I mean, Heather came with her own interesting food take that we're going to get to
Oh,
right now, actually.
love food things.
Yeah,
What did I
right this
do?
second, because you started us on another thing.
Oh, the
You
foodie
know what
thing?
you did. You know what you did. You know what you did.
Hey, the
Oh,
coconut.
there it is.
The coconut.
The
We had a cool
coconut.
conversation about that.
Oh, I wasn't part of this. Okay, someone fill me in. What's happening?
That's a coconut.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's a coconut.
Say more.
There's
Please.
coconut water.
yeah. What's going on here? I heard there was a story, and it looks
How
it
far
looks
back do I
good,
go?
but-
How far back? I don't know. What's necessary?
So through Supernatural,
Mhm.
I found out that one of the that show. I found out that one of the guy, well, I don't know what side of the screen it is. Misha Collins. He started it
He's
was
on
a
the right.
scavenger hunt thing, and it was like for
Yeesh.
creative. Gish. It was for
Gish.
creative people, and through that I just messaged and they found me a group of people who have become very close friends of mine. And almost all of us of the 15 people are named Heather. So we're all named Heather.
How many is all? How many Heathers?
Yes.
I think there's 12 Heathers
Oh my god.
right now. Yeah,
The Heather's like the movie.
exactly. Our team
That's
name
okay.
when we competed was "What is your damage, Heather?" On the movie. And funny enough, my coworker who's watching, her and I, the one who we get into antics, her name is Veronica. So if you've seen the movie, it's Heather and Veronica. So she is my other partner half when I'm not with my business partner Kim. But anyways, the coconut situation came because one of our teammates from Switzerland was visiting Florida with her family. And there are a couple of us Heathers here in Florida, and so I drove down to South Florida where my teammate, who we call engineer because we're either named by our location or our job title, because we're all named Heather. So we can't just be like, hey, Heather.
Like, no. Yeah, y'all need nicknames. Got it.
So we've got Ohio and Indiana. I'm Florida. We've got engineer. We've got British. We have Mary, who's in Ireland, but we just call her Irish because we refuse to admit that she has a name other than Heather. And so we're usually known by our locations.
Look,
Oh,
There she is. That's my girl. So our Swiss teammate was visiting engineer and I, and so we drove down and somehow it came up about how she'd never seen a coconut like from a tree and like in the wild. And we're like, well, Florida. So we found a few coconuts and we broke them open, which was a task.
Yeah.
And so those pictures are from me like shucking them open and us getting the juice out, milk out. And yeah. So we all tried it. I think it was that glass that they were like, you should try it. And I definitely threw that back. And that coconut had been sitting in a lake for a while. And
flavorful.
I really questioned whether or not I needed to like follow up with like a, like a
medical somebody.
Yep. But the other one it was good. It was coconut water. And so we had fun breaking them open. And this was our adventures. This is the typical stuff, the antics our team get into.
But this was also
that's engineer. That's it. That's my other teammate. That's engineer.
Sweet.
She is
this was also just like community team antics, not like from the team scavenger hunt situation. This was just like,
this had nothing to do with that.
You're like, let's find a wild coconut, and
we're bored. Let's find a coconut.
Yeah, free range coconut.
Free range, yeah. From like, she lived off a golf course, so we were like walking out there in our bathing suits, like grabbing coconuts from a golf course.
I have a question about shucking said coconut. What did you use? Because like y'all were just in like, it wasn't like, it seemed like this was kind of an aside task.
It was. Thankfully where we were at was engineer's mom's house, and she had a lot of tools. So we used like drills and hammers, and I think we had like a wedge thing. Like we were literally just going at this with anything we could get.
What was successful?
All of it. It needed everything. It was
resilient.
I have a newfound, like, you see those videos of like the guys that are just like whacking open with superhuman.
The sword.
Maybe they weren't grabbing a coconut that sat in the lake for 40 days.
Might have been it. It had marinated for a little while.
Extra bonus flavor,
swamp flavor, fresh from Florida. This is, someone just said this is what behavior scientists do. I mean, we kind of joke in our field that like our job is basically like F around and find out. Like, well, I mean, if you got a theory,
gotta test it.
So
take data and let me know how it goes.
So what I'm hearing, Doug, is that they're weirder than the people that they observe behavior.
Oh yeah.
Or the weird behavior.
Right?
What's that?
Yeah. Weird good, but not weird. You know what I'm saying? There's a good weird.
Not like Republican weird.
No, we're like
normal weird.
Doug?
No, we're like how many times we have to smash this thing with a hammer to crack it open weird, just because we're bored, not harm people or
not like harm people weird, just like
not like. I mean,
find a coconut weird.
I mean, there was a point where I thought I was going to lose a toe during that, but we're okay.
Would it be worth it?
Because I was holding the coconut with my feet.
No, were you holding the tool, or was someone else responsible for said drill or hammer or wedge?
There were multiple coconuts being attacked at one time. So engineer had one and I had one. I'll try to find a foot pic of the coconut situation.
I have a question though. Is if you lose a toe in Florida, is that really a big deal? Because I feel like Florida is like the spot to lose anything and nobody would be surprised.
Yeah, that's not really a big deal.
Like you're just like
no
coming
one's gonna
down
care.
to the average.
Yeah, no one's gonna care. Like that's not a bragging right. That's like, all right.
Oh, so what? Yeah, watch.
Yeah, me too.
I'm missing my whole foot. How about that?
Right. They're like, so
y'all notice Doug is here for the Florida slander. Y'all notice that, right? Okay, cool.
Hey, I was born in Florida, so yeah. I
mean,
speak of
you're
Florida.
allowed.
I'm a Florida native and I'm here for it. I'm like
I think as an American, we could all take shots at Florida and it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But that's
and I mean, at least I think most of us are like here for it. I'm just like, yeah, I mean.
So
All right.
Face.
Victor says here, real quick, when you take care of something, one that makes you question everything that you have left in its some way. Right. Oh, swamp puppies.
Swamp puppies.
Okay.
We do have swamp puppies. They're very
What is
cute.
that?
Can you swamp
Alligator.
Puppies? Okay,
That's what
I
they're
thought.
called?
Or
Yeah.
I usually call them swamp kitties. But so here's a close up of my. Here's the. Oh, come on, phone.
Technology, you can do it.
Why
No,
were you doing that?
This feels dangerous. Flip flops. I mean, I know we're Florida, but come on.
And a drill.
In a drill.
If it makes you feel better, it was like a hand drill.
Oh, okay, but
Oh.
still, I feel like that could go wrong in a lot of ways.
I was like, is that better or worse? It's like a little.
Greg's face. He's like, "What is wrong with you, white people?"
Well,
So-
I'm
so
questioning.
So much, Greg.
I'm questioning more the behavior analysts. These people should know how weird people are, Doug. And then, well, whatever.
That's fair.
You gotta know in order to be able to work with the people, right? You gotta.
I can relate to a lot of stuff. I mean, I see what my clients do, and I'm like, yeah, I totally get that, man. I mean,
I would do the same thing.
yeah, I get it. I get it. Let's work on communication, but we got this. We got this.
Okay. So,
So that's
Fine.
that's the coconut picture.
coconut. I have a love-hate relationship with coconut. I don't know if we want to talk about it. I like it a little bit. Sometimes I don't. The texture is weird. Sometimes the texture is not. I like those coconut cookies from those Girl Scout cookies. They're amazing. And then some coconut. I absolutely hate Almond Joys. So it's really complicated over here. It is very complicated. What do y'all, before we get out of here, we heard what Heather thinks about coconuts. What do y'all in California think about coconuts? Doug, Lauren, where you at with coconut?
Because I guess you're a California cameo coconut.
Yeah, I'm a
situation.
cameo Californian. Yes.
Okay, so as an actual Californian, I mean, like I also was like, I love tropical vibes. Like coconut's cool. I feel like it has many forms, right? There's like water, milk, shreds, like just flavor. I'm not mad at it. Some shreds are aggressive.
Yeah, I'm as a Florida native, I could do without. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, you know, coconut water is, I guess, really hydrating and it's great for you and all that. But okay.
It's an acquired flavor.
Yeah,
it's not for everyone. But yeah, I'm not mad at coconut generally. I'm like if it's like, you know how some people are very like, nope, out, I'm out, don't want any of that. I'm not mad. I like coconut flavor, but I do feel like texture matters, and coconut has many a texture.
Yes.
And so it's situate. Coconut is a situational flavor thing.
Someone said you guys have to talk like the Californians on SNL.
Yeah, I'm assuming that is like the Valley Girl stuff, but I'm.
Oh my god.
Well, also, I don't side tangent. Sorry, I feel like one of the things that skit talks about that feels very real is Northern California, which is not like full north, actual north, but like Bay Area at least, and maybe north versus south. Mm-hmm. How you reference freeways. Southern California says the in front of like the 10, the 405, the 210. Oh. That does not happen here. It's 580, 80, 680, 24, 13. Like, I don't know why that happens, but that is very real and confusing. Now you'll know who you're talking to. If you talk to a Californian, if you in directions, SoCal.
I'm gonna ask my sister-in-law. I'm gonna be like, "What road do I need to take to get there?"
We don't use them.
Yeah, the 405 sucks, as does the 101.
See,
Both of them suck.
The
You said that no.
But
101.
we don't for New York ones.
Oh, East Coast. No, the.
No, that.
No.
Okay,
I
so
don't
it's
say-
SoCal's being weird.
You say if you get on,
No.
Interstate 80, you get on 81. You don't say the.
Yeah. I just say you get on like 75 and go up to
Mhm.
10.
Yeah, SoCal trying to be cool.
Yeah, but
But I'm Florida and we don't
I
follow
was like,
any
you can
rules.
be trusted.
you don't follow any rules. All right.
Coconut.
Quick thing on coconut.
Yes.
Coconut flavor, if it's not overdone, is not bad. If it's overdone, it's just destroys your palate.
Okay, what counts as overdone? Like, do you not want to
Yeah.
taste like coconut?
I don't want to.
I was gonna. Is it? You mean assertive, Doug? You mean assertive?
Yeah,
Meaning
assertive,
it's too
yeah,
much of
right.
it.
Yeah, if there's like hints of coconut, great, I'm good. Now I will say shredded coconut can get bent. I fucking hate the texture of coconut. Shredded coconut sucks. That's why you said to mention those Girl Scout cookies. I'll never eat them because I don't want the
No.
coconut on it. I don't like it. If it was flavored,
No.
the problem is like any artificial flavor is kind of sucky, but
Pretend.
just the texture of coconut itself, no thanks, pass.
Greg has thoughts.
Drink it
Doug
alone.
went out of his way to shit. He went out of his way to shit on something that I like. But this is the story of the show.
I didn't go out of my way. I was telling you my opinion. My opinion is the
It
flavor
was a
of coconut's fine.
response.
The
He
texture
gets
of
all
coconut.
the
Look,
things
my feelings got hurt. I don't care what you say, Doug. That's
Yeah, Jill just yelled in the background. That what'd you say?
I said he
Everything
hates
is
everything I love too.
You're
Yeah,
not alone.
I hate
Greg.
myself.
oh,
so
okay,
that-
Joe. Okay, cool. So this is a pattern. I got it.
A lot of weird balance happening here.
yeah, sorry. Anyway, like I said, I don't mind the flavor of coconut. I just don't like the shredded coconut flavor. That the texture of it's off. Like you were
Yeah, I
saying.
think everybody has.
Sometimes
There are very few people that I know that just love it unconditionally. I think everybody has kind of a
Mhm.
complicated relationship with it, actually. But
Yeah.
I don't have a complicated relationship with this, Doug. You gave this beer, Blackwood
Ooh.
Porter.
classic.
Yeah, it's a classic. Thanks, Doug. And it's porter, so it's going good. It's never. They can't mess this up. They better not mess this up. The shoots don't do that. So, Doug, unless everybody has another beer or another drink, we can talk about that.
We're
and
still
then
finishing
Doug,
our
we're
Viking
going-
ale, so we'll have a third beer in a bit.
we're going to debut a new segment, Doug. Since you refuse to tell me about your travel plans, I refuse to tell you about our new segment. So now, here we go. Payback is a bitch, ain't it?
Tit for tat.
Anyway,
That's unfair.
so here's my now. Doug's probably not gonna like my new transition. I don't know if I like my new transition, but y'all can
Let's see.
tell me
We're
if
all
my
gonna
new
judge.
transition is good. I don't know. I don't know if I like it or not. Y'all tell me.
Everybody rate Greg.
React, y'all. It's where I'm gonna show a clip and we're gonna react to it.
All right,
So,
let's do it.
did y'all like that goofiness? It's weird, I know, but I wanted it.
It's
to be
very
good.
hippie-ish.
It's a vibe
Yeah,
for sure.
it's something. This is something else too.
Okay.
About a 1 minute clip, y'all.
Baby, this is the exact moment Kamala Harris just won this election. Mark my words.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
know that.
If
And I thought
somebody
that was
breaks in
common.
my house, they're getting shot.
Yes.
Probably should not have said that.
Nah, don't backtrack. Don't backtrack.
But my staff will deal with that later.
Tell me who's really going to tell Kamala Harris that she has to backtrack off of that. Like, the Republicans who are for guns and don't want people to touch their guns are going to attack her for that? Hell, even Democrats would say this. Like, who wouldn't say this? If I have a gun and I'm trying to protect myself and you trying to break into my house and steal my shit, I'm fucking you up. This is again where Democrats cannot let Republicans pigeonhole them into their argument. The reality is that nobody has beef with self-defense. What we're talking about and what we always talking about is how Senate Republicans consistently block assault weapons bans and background checks bill so that weapons don't get into the hands of people who don't deserve to have them. And honestly, I really love that Kamala Harris has leaned into the fact that she's a gun owner, because what she's saying is that you can be a gun owner but also back common sense gun reform to make sure that our schools, literal children, and people are safe in society. Oh yeah, and Tim Walz, her VP pick, is also a gun owner. So again, embodying and letting Americans know that it's okay to be a gun owner, and we're not trying to take your guns, so they can't fear monger into making you believe that they're going to take your guns. If we're also gun owners, but we're saying that we can believe and reform our gun policies in America. It's just simple as that. Don't let these motherfuckers corner you and pigeonhole our argument anymore.
All right.
Heather,
Is it to me first? Am I okay? Is it
Yeah,
to me
sure.
first?
Yeah.
I mean, as a previous gun owner, as someone who is trained in firearms, I have owned a gun. I am not opposed to owning a gun. We don't have one currently, but I'm not opposed to owning a gun. I'm opposed to the unregulated, unchecked, the fact that a person can walk into any gun shop. I could walk into one tomorrow and buy enough arsenal to do a lot of damage to a large population. That's what I'm against. I grew up, I mean, a lot of my family, I think we had touched on this, guys. My family is very Republican, and I don't, it has, in a lot of circles, has a negative name right now. I don't think they view themselves like that. They view themselves as protecting what they think they need to protect. Don't necessarily agree with that. But they're hunters. They hunt, and they think that these people are coming for their guns. And I'm like, no, baby, they're coming for specific guns. I think that the definition of semi-automatic needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Because I mean, people think semi-automatic can go AR-15, but there are small handguns that are considered semi-automatic. And so that needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I think that there's a lot of those kind of discussions that need to be just very clearly discussed. I also, I saw it brought up in a discussion, and I think it's worth a conversation, is like making it so that, you have insurance on your house, you have insurance on a car. Why don't we have insurance on these firearms? Why, this is something that could cause a lot of damage. So I think these are just discussions that need to occur in healthy spaces. I don't have all the answers, but I think that these are just conversations that need to happen. I'm not opposed to people owning guns. Good for Kamala for having a gun. Madam Vice President, future Madam President. I appreciate her stance on that. I appreciate her being open, because I think that statement was probably a hard one for her to make, because I think that for some for some Democrats, that's something hard to hear. I think even for the groups I'm in who are accepting and who are Democratic, when I say, like, I've owned a gun, I'm trained on owning a gun, I have no problem owning a gun safely. I have no problem passing a background check. Let's do it. Let's go. I have no problem if I have to own a gun and I have to carry insurance on it. Fine, let's do it. So those are just kind of my takeaways on that.
You want to go?
This is me. Okay. I was like, Greg.
I'm gonna grab our third beer.
Okay.
Because I got thoughts too, of course.
Awesome. Greg looks like he's trying to point at other people, and Doug's doing
right.
I'm gonna say some stuff. I feel like I've had beverages and less food, so like my words are gonna get weird. So just bear with me. Okay, I agree, and I do think there's something where things have gotten super binary, right? Where it's just like, are you with them or are you with us? And like, it's nothing is like that. Everything's gray area, right? And so her choice or accident of whatever happened, of like her like saying this, I feel like is kind of a good thing, because it is like, it's not an all or nothing. It is like, yes, I can, and like the nuances that go with it, because it's like, it's forcing gray area in some way. Like it's like bringing people back to the like, yeah, but what are we actually talking about? Mm-hmm. Miscommunication or the word usage, I feel like so many times in law. Okay, side tangent. The like, when you have to vote and they're like, yes, voting yes means no, or like voting for the, like the communication is like really challenging. So I feel like the communication of like, are you for guns or against guns? It's like very confusing, because they're like, well, you don't like, in the sense of what I'm seeing guns do in media and news and terrible things. Like, I don't want that, but like, it's not just, are you for or against guns? So like the nuance of what that means and it getting brought in this way, I feel like is great. And like, I'm not a gun owner, I've never been a gun owner, but like, I have an uncle who is, and like, I've been to a shooting range, and like, yeah, like when I was like learning, and you're like, ooh, like how to do this responsibly, you're like, oh, like crap, like this I can see how like mistakes happen just with like kids or access, and if people are not doing it responsibly. And again, like what you need in order to access it is like probably not enough. Like we need more constraints and restraints and all the things. So my reaction was like, ooh, this feels like so spicy, but also like really good. That's me.
Okay.
Your
So
turn.
I grew up in a family full of hunters. I hunted. I've owned guns. I haven't shot a gun in 20 years. And the guns I have are ones that were given to me by my parents because they didn't need them anymore. One was a gun that I had sentimental attachment to because of the gun I hunted with my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is a shotgun. So like I have that, and they're in my house. All the stuff is locked away. Everything's safe. It's secured, which is what you should do if you are going to be a responsible gunner. You should make sure it's secured away. And responsibility is a big thing because I hear a lot of the 2A folks who are afraid that, and I'm saying it in the perspective, and I'm generalizing here, but a lot of the 2A folks will say stuff like the people that are giant proponents of it will say, they do the whole thing, well, shall not be infringed. Well, you're taking half of the statement and the other half is a well-regulated militia. Mm-hmm. Well-regulated means you have regulations, it means you have laws, it means you have things you need to pass to make sure you're responsible. And when I was a kid, the NRA was a good thing. The NRA was something that was like, oh, this is how you learn how to hunt, how you be responsible, how you get your hunting license to the NRA because you have to take tests and make sure that you're responsible. You know how to fire a gun properly, how to clean your gun, how to store it. Like the NRA has turned into this villain, and they should be a villain because of the way they portray things. They aren't doing it how they used to do it. So it's something where the idea of gun ownership isn't onerous. The idea of everybody owning guns and owning assault rifles, and like you mentioned, Heather, with just assault rifle, that needs the whole terminology needs a lot of cleaning up, semi-automatic, all that. If an AR-15 is a gun that is designed specifically for war. It's designed to kill people. It is not designed to hunt with. It's not designed to hunt animals with. It is.
A deer would be annihilated.
Yeah, you would rip that. You would have no serviceable meat out of it if you hit a deer with an AR-15. Like, yeah, you can turn on semi-automatic and be selective with it, sure.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of machismo that's involved here, where it's just like, well, you can't take my guns. Well, that's not what we're asking. We're asking to be smart. We're asking to be register it. So if you have an AR-15, you can have an AR-15. Guess what? If I wanted to get a still to make gin in my house, that is regulated. That's gin.
Gin.
And the government knows I have it. Like if I have it, then they have to regulate it. They have to know that I have it. You're accountable for it. So like you don't make, and they will check on you too. So like this is the thing. Like you have a gun, which is a weapon that is designed to kill things, whether it be people or animals. And if it's something that is a weapon that is designed to kill things, specifically in mass, that's the problem. Like if you say, well, people will kill people with knives, sure. But if somebody's going to tap people with knives, they're not going to get very far. They're not going to kill like in Las Vegas where they had how many 50-something people killed and how many 100 injured in a matter of minutes. You're not going to be able to do that with a knife.
No.
So like guns really just need an accountability factor. And the idea that people are afraid of being accountable for having their guns, I think also speaks to the idea that there's sort of almost a fantasy with the idea of self-protection and self-defense. Like you said, people aren't afraid of being self-defense, but there's, and I'm going to use the term masculine need to feel like you are the protector. Like I'm going to protect my house. Okay, well, if you want to protect your house, there's a lot of things you can do. I read a whole Twitter post where this lady mentioned, you want to protect your people and your family, wash your hands. wash your hands. Something that is easy to do and you don't have to run the risk of killing anybody. Wash your hands. It's very simple. And if you have guns in your house, you should be required to have them secure, and so that other people in your house can't get them. The number one killer of kids in this country is guns. Be it whether they are killed at a school, which is fucking reprehensible, or whether they get access to them at their home and harm themselves or other people in their home because they're not. So I could go on for 30 minutes on this fucking topic, so I'll just end it there. Sorry.
No, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Daniel says, here's the thing. If you need to follow procedures and regulations for saying having your pool in your backyard, well, we have to follow the same logic for higher grade weaponry.
That is a true
Heather.
statement. Yes.
Yeah, Heather, how many regulations do you have for pools in Florida?
So I don't know the year. I don't know the year at all, but I know that after a certain year, if your home has a pool or was built with a pool right now, it is mandatory that you have a gate around your pool. We have one. Usually they're like drilled into the concrete, and it's like a mesh type fence that is put around your pool, so that children don't access it. Yeah. Imagine that, a pool. I have to have that in order to sell my home right now that has a pool. I have the fence. If for some reason I just like threw that fence away, I would have to repurchase that fence in order to like be able to like safely sell my home.
It is fascinating the things that we like highly regulate and like really don't like. The juxtapositions are so wild.
Oh,
there's too much.
Like uteruses? Yeah, I said it.
That just froze the whole conversation because you're exactly right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll get back on track here. No one needs an anti-tank weapon, for example. Manny thinks he does, y'all.
Manny needs a tank.
He was just like a tank as a conversation.
Personally, as a Florida girl, I would like a tank. May I have a tank?
You can be a Florida tank girl.
It will work good down there.
I mean,
so,
I'm not gonna lie. A couple of my like previous coworkers that I worked with a while ago, we were joking when they were like saying stuff about women being drafted. We were like, "Oh, sign us up, sign me up. I will drive your tank. I'm up. I don't sleep anyways. Let's go. Let's go."
So everything pretty much y'all took a lot of my things. So I knew I was gonna go a different angle, so that's why I didn't go first. I knew that y'all were gonna say the things that I was thinking for sure. Heather, again, you hit the regulations. Lauren, you hit the regulations. Doug, you hit everything. I completely agree with all that. So couple of things back to Kamala's statement. Number one, she's completely correct. If you break into the vice president's house, you will be shot. That's not really anything out of
that's not controversial.
or Kamala Harris's house from this point forward. Whether she even becomes president, she's always going to be heavily guarded, and she'll always need to be for the reasons why, because of her position and all that. So there is that. I also thought that it was very off. It showed her authenticity, and it also showed that she's not scripted. How do we know that? Because she said that. Her body language was almost like, should I have said that? And then she even said the words, should I have said that? And then she also said, well, my crew will clean it up. So like that was just a real moment from her. I'm tired of y'all saying that she's scripted and she's this and she's that and she's got an earpiece and people got to tell her the things to say and all this other bullshit that y'all are perpetuating just to really go at a woman, because you wouldn't say that shit about Donald Trump, nor do you, even though he's probably the one doing all the shit that you're projecting on her. So there's that. Also, I love to see Democrats take fucking ownership of the gun issue. Okay, it's not just for y'all to dictate to us what the fuck the whole thing. And Doug and I kind of talked about this, or I wouldn't say it's a spark, but we talked about it a little bit in the thing today, where I'm tired, Heather, of the rights. I'm tired of the left not saying or doing certain things because of what the right might say. These are the same motherfuckers talking about people eating pets. So you have zero credibility for me, and I really don't ever really give a fuck about what your opinion is on anything. If you send me any of that shit, you perpetuate any of that shit, you are not someone that we are ever going to change your mind. First of all, let's acknowledge that. And point number two, you're Weird. I won't even go any further than that. Doug, you know, and people in my private DMs know exactly what I think and what I say. On this stream, I will with other people here. And while we're here, thank you. Our political statements are our own and not those of our guests. This is Doug and Greg speaking. Okay? Cool. That needs to be said. People have their own autonomy. And that's it. But Doug and I say the heinous things. Don't put that on Lauren. Don't put that on Heather. That's it. So lastly on this issue, what you said, Doug?
No, Heather was like flexing. I'm like, Heather's got guns. Oh. Go Heather.
Yeah, bigger than ours, Doug. Anyway.
hey, why we gotta make this a competition? Can't we both just like exist as strong women? Okay.
Yes.
Right?
It's all those swimming skills.
Yes.
Okay.
We're just saying she's a badass. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And lastly, this is how we know Kamala Harris is on point, y'all. If y'all will listen closely, and not y'all, but you know, these other people who scream about her and say false things about her. Yeah, if y'all would listen closely, she wants to reinstate the assault weapon ban. Well, why would that be? Well, that would be because there are facts behind this, y'all. If you see where we had the assault weapons ban, oh, look at the coincidence that we've had the less amount of gun deaths and mass shootings during the time that we had the assault weapons ban. Thank you, Bill Clinton, by the way. And thank you, George W. Bush, for being a fucking asshole and not renewing it. And then you see what happens after a literal killer, respectfully, and that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to that as an American citizen with First Amendment rights. Thank you. So then here we go. You can see right there why we need to institute the assault weapons ban. Notice, y'all, for y'all low IQ people, assault weapon. No one's saying handguns, no one's saying shotguns. Hell, I don't even think that says bazookas. Okay? So, well, maybe they're already banned, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway,
I don't think civilians
assault weapons ban. And this is what Democrats or people on the left or people who want sensible gun relations want. We want assault weapons, y'all. And I'm here to tell you, and let me put it on the big screen. Y'all don't need that shit for any fucking reason at all, okay? It's unnecessary, and it only really, y'all scream and holler about law and order and cops and blue lives. Do you think blue lives fucking want assault weapons? Do you think they want to go against them? Okay, so restore the assault weapon ban, elect Kamala Harris, and that's where we're at. Trump ain't trying to do nothing on it. He's owned by the NRA. Y'all know this. He told us to get over it. So you have someone who's saying, we got to do shit, and you got someone to say, get over it. So what are y'all going to choose? So on that, unless y'all have something.
Get over it. Is get over it ever a good thing to recommend to someone in an argument?
That's the equivalent of telling an angry woman to calm down in the middle of an argument.
Oh, no. Fuck that. Like, I'm sorry. You want me to what?
Victor doesn't want y'all to take his slingshot.
You may have your slingshot. I got mine. Hey, I'm a good shot with a slingshot.
Ooh.
And Manny reminds us that all slingshots matter.
They
so
do.
Then we have that.
Can
I
ask a question? What is there a worse thing for a man to say to a woman than calm down?
I mean, part of me is like, yeah, probably, but that's pretty bad.
I mean, I'm sure there are things that are just like
like there's just a plethora of options, but like that's also hard to the
in phrase manner, yes. In phrase manner, yes, but like, you know, certain slurs should never be coming out of men's mouth towards women. So that's my opinion.
Jill suggested be quiet might be on the same part.
Similar vibe. It's the same. It's a similar response vibe.
Yeah. I'm incredibly spoiled. I have a great guy who does not engage in that kind of thing. So I haven't been spoiled. So I can't think of anything. I was trying to think of like if he said anything that's like calm down. Like he will go all the way around that bush to like not say calm down.
Like let me say all the other things.
Have you thought about going to a yoga retreat?
Yeah.
Do you
need a spa trip? Do you need a spa trip?
Pass.
You're like, yes, and you shut your face.
And I'm going to be angry the whole time I'm there.
You'll be paying for it.
Oh, here's something that men definitely.
know what he's saying.
I hear this is something that men don't ever say is, "Would you like a massage?"
I do say that. The problem is my hands are so bad that I massage Joe for like maybe 5 minutes, and my fingers are killing me. And it's not a.
And I hear you, Doug, but you're not every guy, is what I'm saying. I think there's too many guys that won't say those words.
I'll put that on my shirt.
You're doing
not
great.
Every guy.
Also, I can't help but like, what is Heather's face doing?
Everything. It has all the subtitles. I apologize. I'm a cat person in a relationship, so the idea of you being like, I'm gonna touch you for a prolonged period of time, I'm like,
okay, so personal touch is not your love language.
No, but I married a golden retriever and it's his. So help.
That is for another show.
No, I am the cat. I like to be touched when I want to be touched, but I don't like the idea of like of me, like if my husband were like, I'm gonna give you a massage, I'll be like, I will pay a professional. Thank you.
So you'd rather someone strange touch you to massage you than your husband?
Okay, that wasn't the other option.
The answer is yes.
That's okay.
Okay. All right.
I was just asking. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
okay. Well, also because like to some degree, if a stranger is touching you, it's like purposeful versus like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're gonna go out to the corner and be like, hey man, you want to get a massage?
There's a side quest coming up here, isn't there?
You're like, why do you want this? There's what's happening here.
What's behind door number 2?
That's fair. That's fair.
I know why you wanted the massage.
Women are so complicated and men aren't, Doug. We've already said.
That's not true. Men are yes, men are dopey, but we also have our fair share of things that are hard to decipher, to be fair.
But we're not complicated though. We're dumb and simple, in my opinion. Really.
Well, I also think that that depends on neurodivergence and neurotypicalness too.
Oh. Ooh, a whole tangent.
That came up in a whole conversation at our family table when we started talking about the Titanic, and I went down like a whole rabbit hole on information about that. And my husband was like, "Why on earth would you know this?" And I'm like, "Did you not hyperfixate on the Titanic in 1998?"
How many times?
Just laughed at the background.
How many times did you see it in theaters?
6.
And
6.
See, Doug, they're complicated. I told you. But
here's the thing. So I'm the neurotypical in our relationship, and my wife is neurodivergent. So there's a lot of negotiation that goes on with trying to say, hey, this is what I mean, because there's a lot of implicit language in neurotypicalness, which is not direct.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of, so.
And obviously, stereotyping a whole gender is not what we do here. We're just having a fun conversation. So there's that for sure.
It's all good.
I just wanted to make that context for sure. But at the same time, Doug, come on now. It's not. This is why I want a woman president. This is why I want women in charge of shit. Because women will go down those lines and like really like analyze things, hit things, do what we want to do. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I see the women are not responding to, but that's just my perception. And maybe it's just me. Like I said, like I told Doug, I'm not every guy. But there's a lot of guys like me, though. I'm just saying.
I'm good with a woman being in charge. I know she's got this.
I want them all in charge. In fact, the only reason I was disappointed in Tim Walz is that it wasn't Big Gretch. So that's it. Like
we needed a coach, but we need a coach.
That's your homie,
Tim
right?
Walz is amazing. Don't get me wrong. He was the right move. I was just like pushing for, I was just pushing for the 2 women thing. I thought it would have been amazing. But, and America would have handled it, damn it. I don't give a fuck if we think they can or not. Thank you.
I was hoping for the Pete combo, but I think that was too far. I don't think America can handle it. I don't think the Pete Kamala. I'm happy with Tim. I'm very happy with Coach. He's
remember, Greg, we had a whole conversation with Amanda Diber, and I said I thought she would pick Tim Walz because of the safeness of Tim Walz, because I love Pete Buttigieg, but Pete Buttigieg was also a gay man, and I think doing a woman who is black and Indian and a gay man was just a bit too much. That might have caused a problem with the people who are the quote unquote moderates. The moderates where's the problem. I love Pete. I think he's going to be a president. Really do.
Our moderates aren't homophobes. That's all I got.
But
I don't think that.
There-
Now
there's
our
Republicans
MAGA
too.
people are, but they're not untouched. Where's that?
no,
I
I
see.
Yeah, I understand.
Go ahead,
Like
Heather.
respectfully, I think a black woman is enough controversy that it doesn't matter who's next on her ticket. That's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, respectfully. So then, if you get past that hump, you could put almost anybody. You could have put Garfield there, respectfully, and she still would have been kicking ass because again, black women have to do things harder, better, and everything to achieve the same thing that white men do. And you literally have seen it with Joe Biden. And respectfully, I love Joe, but his mediocre ass campaign, it was mediocre. And how do we know it was mediocre? Because the second that Kamala took over, you saw everything energized. You saw people being directly targeted as far as messaging. You saw all kinds of different shit going on. And with respect to Joe, his campaign, I don't give a fuck what the polls are saying. It just wasn't up to speed. It just was not cranking out the way it needed to crank out. Now you see the black woman come in who has a higher threshold to prove to everybody, even a lot of black men, even some black women, that she's qualified for this. And you still got 43% of people saying that, well, what does she do? She's not qualified, even though she was fucking the vice president of the United States. That's just not enough for a black woman to have enough qualifications. It's fucking ridiculous and it's outrageous. But the fact that the reason why she's going to win is because she's going to out hustle this old ass creep. And she's already doing it. She did it the second she started, and she's going to continue to do it. Joe was just riding his popularity and his job and all that because he's old, respectfully, and he just didn't have enough energy, respectfully, to get it done. So I don't know why I went there and why I went on that tangent, but that's just the truth. And Kamala is just amazing. And this gun thing, really, she owned it. She fucking really did a good job with it. She showed her authenticity. And she was right. Again, you come into Kamala Harris' house, you're going to get shot. So that's a warning. I don't know. Like, you know, J6 people, apparently you have to warn them because, again, they stormed the Capitol and some of them got shot and they still lost their minds and blamed other people for that. But anyway, that aside, I don't know why I'm going there. I think we should, unless y'all have any comments, I think we should move on to something funner unless y'all don't care or y'all want to go or y'all have a comment. Doug, you have a response?
Oh, I have comments for days, but let's move on because we'll be here for 4 hours with me having a fucking Dan Rather soliloquy. We don't need that.
We'll never leave. We'll all just remain here until November 5th.
Ever.
And we won't leave, right? So let's bump a little music, Doug. So I let y'all go first the last time. I'm going first now. So y'all can laugh at me. Y'all can laugh at me. Doug knows I don't have there's a lot of times I don't have shows that I'm watching, but I'm watching this one and I don't care what y'all think. Okay? I don't care.
What is it?
That'll be great.
Any of y'all think, oh yeah, it's yeah. You know I'm gonna get ridiculed for this one. That's why I said I don't care what y'all think. So I completely finished watching Naked and Afraid, Last One Standing, the new season. And that shit's fun. I don't know. I watch a little of the normal Naked and Afraid, but this one's really fun because there's like competitions and Doug, I like where like people get kicked off and I like when people get kicked off. Manny, don't do that. Don't do that.
Great. The fact that Manny is saying, "Oh Lord," feels bad.
Well, Manny likes some garbage too, so he can't even do it. I mean, I don't know if
poor Heather in the background dying over there.
Well, I've never seen this show, but now I'm interested, Manny. Tell me more.
I'm not going to comment on that.
It's like the best of Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, this is like people who won Naked. Greg, explain. Is it like the people who won and then they're back? How does this work?
Yeah.
Why are they afraid?
I mean, because they're naked.
Well,
in nature.
Okay,
right?
so Heather, you've never heard of Naked and Afraid?
I've heard of it. I've not watched it.
Okay,
I'm not a reality TV show person.
Oh, this guy is really. I'm sorry. I apologize for it. So That's why I told you I didn't care because now I'm apologizing. So I guess
it's
I
your
care.
thing. You
I shouldn't.
I support it.
No,
You
own
do
it.
you.
But tell us about it.
Naked and Afraid is where they strand people naked with nothing in the middle of like every kind of place, whether it be Africa, South Africa, hell, Arizona. They just throw people in there. So then what happens is they have like 20 seasons of this. So then the people who actually make it, because Heather, a lot of people don't. Some people get out there day 3 and are like, I'm out of here. This is
Same.
horrible. I can't do this.
No
So
way.
the people who make it and who have been on a couple streams, they put them all together and they make this show. And like, so these people are kind of like the legends of the show, meaning like people who've done it like 3 or 4 times, done it for like 24 days in Africa with
they
the
look like
fucking
legends.
snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. So this show is like, and then they have to do like fire making challenges, and they have to like
win that.
you know, they get bows and they have to kill animals and all this, all while they have no clothes on. So you do get to see some butts, Manny, but after that, it's America, so we don't see anything else.
You
Manny.
do get to see
And-
some butts. That's the
booties.
show's tagline. That's the tagline of the show.
See some
You do get to
butts.
see some butts.
Thanks.
Negative
I'll
impact.
stick to my novels. I'm good. Thank you.
So I'm pretty
A
pretty
quarter
sure-
of the roses, I guess, for Heather.
Yeah, so the one guy that I like a lot, he's actually my favorite dude on the show. He won this season. I will keep that. I won't spoil it because it only ended last week. But I was really happy about that.
Wait, can
Which
you
guy
tell
is
us
it in
which
the
one?
graphic?
Like, can we judge his visual appearance?
Which guy in the graphic?
Naked face.
He's on the graphic.
Okay,
Well,
but which
that
one?
narrows it
You
down.
don't want to ruin it? Is that
I
what's
said I
happening?
didn't want to spoil it because
I
it
think
just
it's
ended
top-
last week.
Top left guy.
No,
Top?
no.
No.
I'm going to tell you who it is. I'm going to give you a guess. My guess is either the bottom right guy or the bottom right, but 2 in from the bottom. This show is bottom ranked.
Okay, so
God
So-
damn it, Daniel.
so Doug, the bottom 2 on the right, is he the dude that's right under the E, the ready, or
Yeah.
under the 1?
So
Under the
the
O
one
and
that's
one.
after under the E and the other one is after under the G are the two my 2 guesses.
Okay.
Okay. So Doug, you picked it right actually.
All right.
You got the
Oh,
right guy.
good
I'll just
judgment.
leave it out there. I don't want to spoil
I
it
know
for
Greg.
spoilers.
Greg and I have been doing the
People
show for damn near 5 years.
You know,
Yeah,
Greg's naked
yeah.
and afraid type.
He knows his
Yeah,
face.
so one of the things about reality shows is the person that I want to win never wins. So it was actually nice that it actually happened. So that was
Okay.
cool. So
Congratulations.
yeah, check it out. Yeah, I deserve something for that. Thank you, Lauren.
Me too.
um,
Here's a cheers
and-
to you. Congrats.
Small victories.
Yay.
Yes.
Cheers to you,
So
Greg.
Doug, we'll get to Doug first. We'll get to Doug and then we'll do the ladies last here we got to do Heather's last for, a couple reasons. But Doug, this looks interesting.
This is a show called Kevin Can Fuck Himself. This is an interesting concept because it's basically like they took King of Queens and made it so that like half the show is a sitcom and then they go to her, whereas so the sitcom is filmed with like a laugh track and like very King of Queens kind of stuff. It's set in Boston, very Boston accents, and then the other half of the show is her on her own and how dark it is, like how dark her life is. It is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. So this lady in the graphic was on the Schitt's Creek show. She was one of the sisters, I think.
Mhm.
And it is really super interesting to see the dichotomy of how she is living in this sitcom life and then it shifts to her real life. So it's like just this, it's just a sitcom, but it's not. It's like a dark sitcom, and it's only each episode 30 minutes. I've only watched 2 episodes, but I find the concept super intriguing because like the idea of like having this sitcoms like Everybody Loves Raymond, where the guy's a complete fucking doofus and the wife holds everything together, and King of Queens was the same way. I use King of Queens because the guy Doug Heffernan just kind of reminds me of like a Bostonian. So like it just I find the show super interesting. Manny just said it's a great show. Like it's really supremely interesting. But you want to be able to take a trip that's a little darker. So yeah, that one.
I wasn't paying attention. What is that on?
That is on Netflix.
Okay, so I can find that one.
Yep.
It sounds almost like how there's like
AMC here,
Instagram,
too?
versus, like, real life behind
Yes,
the scenes.
it's almost like that. Yeah,
It's like a version of like the sitcom, and you're like behind the scenes version of the terrible actual truth.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely that sort of thing. So it's really, really cool in that way.
Okay.
All right, Doug. And what about this one?
So this one is something that I watch with Jill. My wife's an artist, so she paints. What the cool thing is, there's also Portrait Artist of the Year and Landscape Artist of the Year. These are BBC shows. The Landscape Artist of the Year is a little bit more my bent because portraits to me can be sort of formulaic. Now the thing is they don't pick artists who are formulaic. They pick artists who do a lot of different kind of things. The landscape artists, that's a little bit more my jam. What's interesting for me is watching shows. I'm not an artist, so I don't know how to paint. I don't know how to draw. I'm bad at all those things. But hearing my wife talk about how people paint and how they draw and the techniques they use and how that's interesting to her really is interesting to me.
Aww.
So I watch a show with her, and now she will watch 10 episodes in a row. I can't do that because I'm a fucking fidget and I can't sit still for more than 3 episodes of anything. So she'll be watching it and I'll be like, I got to go do something because
I'll be back.
yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm not being productive. That stupid fucking productivity mindset, and I got to go do some shit. But like the show is interesting, largely because I get to see a glimpse of how she sees art and how she paints and how things are different for her and how she sees color versus the people who are painting and do things. It's super interesting to me to hear her talk about that and how she interprets that and how these people interpret it. So that's what I'm watching with her.
I'd like to be friends with your wife, please.
Also, this fucking
Everybody.
adorable.
I was about to say that was like a new love language has been unlocked, and I'd like to be friends with your wife because in a different life, a long time ago.
You have to be friends with her. You're on Instagram and Facebook, nothing else.
Okay,
Yes.
those are the only options.
I'm good with that. I was an art history major a long time ago, and I still love to like.
Well, then you get to see her art because she's a phenomenal fucking artist. So.
Okay, I'm gonna find.
Heather's excited.
I'm gonna find her now.
In a very non-threatening but excited way.
And like, I'm very excited about your artwork kind of way, not like a weird way.
I have that issue all the time. But like, I will find you and we will hang out in non-aggressive way.
I mean, yeah, I am the friend that usually they go to when people are like, so I've been dating this guy. I'm like, all I need is his first name. Let's go.
So if anyone needs to hire Heather for bonus side hustle references,
it's not good enough. Let's not start a business with that. That's weird.
She's very busy. It's fine.
I won't charge. I just won't.
Okay, for funsies.
So I just friended you on Instagram. Just
You can
message me and
now
I'll
you can
connect
find
you with
people.
Jill.
We're gonna help you
Find her.
find her.
Thank you.
So I'm
FYI, it's happening.
on Instagram. Sorry, Jill.
It's
Sorry.
happening.
I apologize, Jill.
It's gonna be great.
Daniel's wife
Daniel
puts in.
Fisher's wife is an art history major
Ooh,
and gallery
Daniel.
administrator.
Heather wants more friends. Like, can we friend your wife also? More friends.
More friends.
All the friends. I'm on Instagram at just H and then my last name, Pavich.
Yeah, I have that. So
Oh.
Yeah. For the Daniel guy.
For the other people.
it's a Daniel,
other
yeah.
people.
H, not just H Habit, but H
Pavich. My last name. H Pavich.
H Pavich.
Yeah, let's start like an art history chat. I just love to listen to them.
Yeah.
It's
That's
great.
a Twitter thing.
It's
So
gonna be
yeah.
very lively.
Yep. All right, Heather. So we know that you want to talk about this. So
Do I?
do you? Oh, I know it's a thing. It's a whole thing.
I mean, here's the thing: is you wanted to hear about the fandom, but like I try as hard as I can to stay out of the fandom.
Okay, wait, okay. Can I ask at the top, like, I have not watched this show. I feel like there are people
Solid.
who are like so into the show, right?
Right.
And like that's one thing. But then beyond the people who are like super into the show, then there's like fandom.
There
and
you
like,
go.
so like, where do you draw the line? Like, why are you different? Or like, what's the
I'm
difference?
in the middle. Like I like the show. I have seen the show in its
Love
entirety.
the show.
It's a good show.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
I mean, look at them.
Ooh, all-time favorite shows. Okay.
Okay, there we go, Manny. I mean, they aren't. It isn't an unfortunate thing to look at, you know. So
Solid foundation.
Jensen
So there we
Ackles
are.
Jensen Ackles is an absurdly handsome human being.
and
Pleasant.
and I saw him. My friends were at a convention and I joined them, and they were in a photo op, and I was gathering things like it was a birthday thing, and I was gathering like birthday things. I was standing there and I had like I had a thing. I had like those blower things in my mouth.
Oh yeah, like little like noise
And-
maker.
Hold on 1 second. I have the glasses. Hold on.
Oh, ooh, there's glasses.
So
I love a
was
good
wearing-
visual.
So I was wearing these glasses.
Blower things in her mouth.
What does that
Okay.
say? No, Greg.
It says. It
Like-
says cake. It originally said
Okay,
cake
no.
time.
Oh, but now it's cake. Did you change it or did it fall off?
The T fell off, and so I just ripped the I off. So it says cake me. So this is the visual, and then I have my friends are in this photo op, and I have a blower in my mouth, like the like
Blower.
and it,
No,
like,
it's like a
Oh,
noise
okay.
maker.
Let's
Like
be
a
a little more
noise maker.
specific.
Calm
Noise
down.
Party
Calm.
noise maker.
calm down.
No. Words.
So I have it in my mouth, and I look over, and Mr. Ackles is literally shoulder to shoulder with me, and it literally is this.
like, oh, well, hello. Okay.
So
So yeah.
So Heather,
So
hold
you're-
on,
so
real
you're-
quick, real quick,
There's like
real quick, Heather. So Heather, once you finish that up, can you give us, for people who haven't seen this, give us the premise of the show, or
it's two
what's the plot?
brothers.
I mean, some of us have seen it.
Okay, so it's
and
two brothers
Who
who
are the two
go
brothers? Which
Jen-
ones are the brothers?
the middle guy, and then the guy to the left.
Misha or the other guy.
Longer hair, shorter
Longer hair,
Yeah,
Jared
they're
Padalecki. They're brothers, and they go on a hunting trip, and it lasts for about 15 seasons.
What?
Okay.
What is,
They did
are
not
they
have-
bad hunters?
They didn't have semi-automatics.
That's a whole new ballgame.
No, sorry. They go on a hunting trip, and it is in the supernatural. Their dad is a hunter for supernatural things. And one of my favorite memes for the show is like season 1, and they're like, we don't deal with demon things. Like, that's not what we do. We just hunt ghosts. And then like season 15, them literally walking into the gates of hell, and they're like, what's up, guys? So
It's a real journey.
yeah,
Is what you're saying.
it's a lot. The other guy, Misha, is an angel. So spoiler.
Okay.
It is a very long journey. I don't know how to sum it up other than that. It's a long journey. It's a good story. If you're starting watching it, the first season is very like monster of the week. And you just got to get through that.
I feel like a lot of shows are like that though. You go, oh, man, just get to that first season, then that shit takes off.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the show much later than it started. I didn't start watching the show until like 2000.
So you didn't watch it in the CW days?
Okay. Post. Was the show ended by the time you started?
No.
Okay.
No, I did start watching it before it ended, but I was really close to the end. So I was not like part of the OG
Okay.
fandom.
Love that.
It like I said, my coworker Veronica is going through it right now. She's in season 1, and I was like, just get through it. It's gonna be okay. It's a long show. It's 15 seasons, so there's a lot to get through. But I like it. It's a good show.
Really?
15.
I didn't think it was that long.
It's a long show. That's when
Right.
people go to like the conventions and they're like, I've watched the whole thing like 18 times. I'm like, that's
Do you have a life outside of that? Like that's like I get people get obsessed and like some people do comfort watchings. Like for some people watch The Office, which I think is fucking terrible, but that's my thing. But I also would like to point out one thing that I found out today is the show Lost premiered 20 years ago today.
oh, that's hurtful.
The worst finale of any show ever by a fucking mile. I fucking hated the ending of that show, but regardless, I just oh, he's watching Manny. You're one of those people. How do you find the time, dude? Where do you find the time? Please explain.
Of Lost or Supernatural?
The Supernatural. I'm hoping that.
I think it's Supernatural.
I'm not judging you, Manny. So here's the thing: is I do have it on a lot in the background as like I have to have something with like noise, so I have it on a lot. It's a good show. When you get into the fandom part, I try to stay out of the fandom. I've gone to a couple conventions and I have like little internet friends that I have met, like you guys, through Twitter, and they're great, and I love meeting them.
But what's the overall problem though with the fandom? I actually don't know about it. Actually, I don't even know if it was me who asked or maybe it was Doug who asked.
They have like little subsets that like attack each other.
Oh,
they have like
no.
yeah, they like gang up on each other, and I'm like, why we got to be like this?
That's weird. That doesn't sound like a good. It sounds almost like the Star Wars fandom where they kind of beat up each other all the time, and you're just like, why the fuck are you? If you're fans of the show, why the hell are you doing that? Like that makes no sense.
So, well, hold on. What is the source of the infighting? Is it the content? Is it the content on Supernatural, or is it just the differences between the people outside of Supernatural? My point is that do the skirmishes have anything to do with the show? If that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
To both.
Okay.
I think there are people that interpret parts of the show, like relationships between the characters, as different types of relationships. And then there are Manny says, have me on. He'll explain. Yes, just have Manny on. There are people
Manny,
that
with the link.
I'm not sure we're ready for Manny on this show again, because if you've never seen Manny, that is an experience all by itself.
Okay.
Of course we're ready for Manny. Of course we're ready for Manny. But anyway, back to Heather.
Manny is a follow-up.
Coming in hot.
Just coming in hot. Coming in hot, baby.
There are parts of the fandom that think that there are relationships that are relationships, and there are relationships that are friendships, and they get in arguments together. And then there are parts of the fandom that like think that like the actors themselves legitimately have like beef with each other and like have to start like they're pot stirrers. They just got to stir the pot and create drama and create, yeah. So that kind of stuff. I like I said, I like, I've gone to a couple cons. I like the people that I've gotten to meet through this fun little app called X and or Twitter. X, not X.
We're not calling it X. Never calling it X. Fuck that.
Why is it X? So through the twits, I have met the friends, and
the twits.
the twins. I've met friends, and they're lovely, and they're a great group of people who like to go to the conventions and create shenanigans. And there's one coming up in Orlando, and I have a friend coming, and we are creating shenanigans. She had a dream about Jensen Ackles that involves a mahogany and gold porta potty, and
I was unprepared. I'm sorry, what?
And I told her I can make that happen. I'm a gisher. Like, girl, if you need something built, let's go. If you need a porta potty, let's do this. So, it's the fandom can be very toxic. So like, I just try to stay out of it. I have a very well cultivated Twitter timeline, so I miss a lot of it. I only see it if like my friends are directly involved in it, and then I see them make like a vague tweet about like whatever happened at the last convention, and I'm like, "Ugh, something happened."
Yeah.
You're like, do I want to ask? Should I not ask? It feels
Sometimes if I'm feeling spicy, I'll go down the rabbit hole. I'll be like, let's go. And then sometimes I'm like, just not gonna
I
log
don't have
on.
time for that shit.
Nope. I'm gonna stay off Twitter for 3 days.
Yeah, so sometimes I feel like, they have these skirmishes back and forth on these shows about like direction of the show or like how the show ended, like Doug says. I bet you we could probably find a couple people in there, anywhere that would, argue with Doug about the lost ending was the best ending ever. And then like, you know what I mean? And then people fight over that. So that's what I was wondering for. But I think that's when you have like such a, and Supernatural was canceled once or twice, wasn't it? And then it was brought back. Like, was it one of those too? Like, it has a I don't want to say, I hate when people say cult following. I think I don't like that because it kind of diminishes cults sometimes, if that makes sense. Like when you use a word too much, it diminishes the value of the word, if that makes sense. But if it's a cult following, it's a cult following. But I heard that about Supernatural a couple times, that it's kind of crazy. So I don't know, you kind of described it, but
I would say it definitely has a very, very fanatical, as Manny says. There are very strong, opinionated people in the fandom, and I just stay out of that.
It's weird. It's a TV show, though. It's just a TV show. So anyway,
and it ended. Like it's over, guys. Like it ended, and they're all moving on to like other things. So like, let's support them in other things.
No, but I guess it's a cool following if y'all can't give that up and the show's over and everything. Wow, that's kind of interesting and weird. But Manny was invited to come on here to talk about Supernatural real quick. We don't want him taking over Heather's show, so we're cool. But Manny, come on in. But in the meantime, Manny, you have a little window here, and the window is because we're gonna ask Lauren what she's watching.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
There.
I'll try.
Rip.
I watch things, and sometimes I'm very busy. But currently, a thing that I've been watching recently is I guess it's a show. It's like a channel on YouTube called Jet Lag, and they have different seasons. And they're content creator people, I guess, called Jet Lag. Look it up on YouTube. And they also stream on a platform called Nebula that like you get early access to the episodes or whatever. Anyway,
Jet Lag, the game.
The game? Probably. It's not like a little airplane logo guy thing going on.
I got it right here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that one. So like what they do is like there's like 3-ish main dudes, and then they have like cameo guests sometimes, but they like play games across countries, like hide and seek across Europe, or like tag in Japan, or like Connect 4 in the United States. And like, you got to get states that are like touching each other. And like, they create game mechanics of like, okay, so if it's like, okay, the recent one that I've been watching is like the most recent one where they like release it weekly, like TV used to be back in the day. But the recent one is, oh my God, where are we? We're in Europe, and they're playing tag, and they started in the middle, and like each person has like a goal area within a circle. Like one's in like France and one's in like, I don't know, far. I'm bad at Europe. I don't know. I haven't
bad at Europe.
I haven't been there. I've never been to Europe. That's not true. I went to Barcelona. Anyway, I don't have a European map in front of me. There's like somewhere in France and somewhere in like maybe Italy and then somewhere else in like Switzerland or something. But they start in the same place, and they're like, in theory, equidistant. Like they have to go here and they have to go here and they have to go down here. And then one person is a runner, and then there's 2 chasers who can like see where they are location wise. And then the runner is just running, and they have like so many coins to get places. So there's like tokens, there's a whole mechanic, and there's like challenges in order to earn more coins so you can go further in the travel you can buy. And then there's like there's a lot of cool game mechanics and then strategy that's wild. And sometimes it's just a race from like the top of like the tippy top of the United States to the like bottom of the United States. They went from like somewhere in Alaska, I don't remember where, to like Florida. And there were 2 teams and they had to like try to be the first ones there, but you're like trying to catch planes and you have to do challenges and in order to get coins and to afford trains or flights or Ubers or whatever you're doing. And it's just super kind of silly and fun, but strategic and interesting. And I would like to travel more, so sometimes it's fun to like be like, oh, like they're in New Zealand or they're in Australia and they're playing some game, and I love games and puzzles. So jet lag, that was a lot of words, and I don't know if I communicated anything. So there you go. Who has questions?
That sounds fun.
Jet lag, check it out.
Sounds like Amazing Race, but in different ways.
But like smaller and like a little bit more like, I mean, like Amazing Race is competitive, but it's a little bit more directly competitive, strategic competitive.
Yeah.
Because some of the way, again, like there's different versions of games where they play tag, or they like it's a literal race, or it's Connect Four, or it's hide and seek. And so there's different game mechanics in the way they make it sort of like fair. Like the person if it's hide and seek and the person hiding is like, you're kind of, less than the other people, but you can pull cards that might curse the other team that like makes them have to do a challenge before they do some other thing. So it's super entertaining to watch. And they do it over, it's like, we're playing tag across Europe over 4 days. And you're like, that sounds wild. They're they talk about carbon footprints and things. So EA climate and stuff. But, and they're not necessarily encouraging everyone to do this, but yeah, it's very entertaining and fun. And interesting, and again, like the way that things play out is fascinating. I'll stop talking now.
That sounds fun.
Fun, y'all. Check that out on YouTube, right there.
This one,
Jet Lag the Game, it's called.
You got it.
So yeah, check it out. Check it out. Sounds fun. And who else is fun is our friend Manny. He's here to talk real quick about.
Uh-oh.
Let's talk about
Here we go.
Manny showed up. It's a party.
Manny, I'm not even that far from you.
You don't even say anything either. That's
Hey, it was a surprise for Greg. And honestly, I wasn't close to Sacramento most of the time, so I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm actually going to Chicago in November, so I'll be a little bit closer to you guys.
All right, man, explain it all. Lay it out for us.
Hold on, no, Manny. We got to talk about November, but also though, I kind of wanted to lead you in here, Manny. How do you end up watching? How does one of your top 5 shows being a top 5 show with 3 of these hot guys? What is going on?
Yeah,
what's wrong with that, Greg?
I mean, when you're a hot guy, you gravitate towards other hot guys. That's just what it is, man.
Oh.
Oh, Manny,
I can support you because I didn't start watching this show because of any of those guys.
I didn't either.
I didn't start watching because of any of those guys.
Why did you watch? Why did you watch,
Heather?
Because of Timothy Omenson, who is an amazing actor, and he's in a show. He's in many shows, but he's in Gallivant, and I loved that show. And I went in a like neurospicy rabbit hole on like, what has this guy been in? I have to watch all of it, and I saw Supernatural, so I was like, gonna watch it. He doesn't come in until end of season 9.
No,
10?
Spoilers.
I sat through all of that.
Go ahead, Manny. Now your turn.
Yeah, Manny. How do you end up watching a show with all these hot guys 5 times?
So two things. One, since I was a child, like I've always been obsessed with anything supernatural, ghost, Amityville Horror. Like I've always wanted to spend the night at the Amityville Horror's the actual house. Like just insane stuff. That's the white side of me that's willing to get killed to go right. But the other thing was I am a
non-white people not super into ghosts.
Don't run away from the danger. You just stay in that same place type thing. But the other thing is the dad, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who I am a huge fan of as an actor. And anybody that doesn't know who Jeffrey Dean Morgan is, he's Negan in Walking Dead. He's been in numerous things. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. So he plays the father in this story. He's the father of Dean and why did I just
Heather, help.
Demon Sam
Okay.
Winchester. Dean and Sam Winchester.
Say, okay.
So
Sorry, I left you there. I muted myself. Sorry.
so
Trying to help you.
to give you some background to it, though, the show was originally written as a 5-season show. It is literally, if you watch it the right way, it is literally the Bible reenacted as a supernatural show for the first 5 seasons. Everything from Cain and Abel to hell versus heaven and what is supposed to. They were basically writing out the whole biblical story as what was supposed to happen throughout the Bible and how they get to this quote unquote paradise it's supposed to be. Because of the popularity is why he wrote it past 5 seasons. It wasn't because it was like, oh, we're just gonna. Basically, it was like, we're making so much money off of this. Let's just keep on writing until the wheels fall off. So I will say the first 5 seasons are by far the best 5 seasons in my personal opinion. Everything after that, like, I still liked it because I was invested. I love these characters, but it never to me held that same like enthrallment of the storylines. Like there's some pretty ridiculous stuff at certain points after a while. It's like, now y'all just writing anything, man. But I'm invested. I'm invested to everything. Even as when you start doing musical episodes, like I'm pretty much usually done at that point.
You're done by the musical episode? I'm into
like,
a music. I was like, I would tell me the musical episode. I'll watch that one.
But see, I love musicals, but I don't want to see werewolves tap dancing. Like, that's not what we need to be seeing in this. Like, those are filler episodes. You know, they call those the filler episodes where it's like, well, there's 20 episodes a season. I guess we'll just throw in a musical every season. We'll throw in a black and white episode every season. Like, they started doing stuff like that. But in general, like, yes, it's like the fan bases are pretty crazy. Like, whether they're, you know, there was like, oh, the brothers are really lovers type like thing that was going on Twitterverse and stuff like people just come up with the most like craziest like reasons of like, oh, the hidden messages of the episodes, you know, things like that.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of hinting at, is there's a whole bunch of fandom, and I don't want to partake in either side of that, but I'm just like, you guys can think what you'd like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it gets
I'm
pretty
gonna
far
watch
out
the
there.
show.
And that's me. I'm
Real
with you. Like, I was just a fan of the show. I mean, I've been to comic conventions where I've seen people dress up and I've seen the fanatical side of it, but that was like, I've never been into any of that. It was just like the show, man. Like, even when it almost got to the point where I was like, if you guys do one more season, I'm out. Like, I'm out, man. Like,
Okay.
I can't do this anymore.
So
But I would watch every week. Like, it was either watching it live or on my DVR, and that same night I was watching it, or the morning after. Like, had to keep up with the storyline. So.
All right. So I have a question. If you are looking, what is the show? I'm not sure how to phrase this question, because you were talking about when you got to a point, Manny, where you're like, if you get to and you do this, I'm kind of out, and you're like, one more season, I'm out. And I look at something like Grey's Anatomy, which has had
many
fuck ton of seasons, and I'm just like, that show's, forgive me, sucks, and people love it, and they love it, and they watch the shit out of it, and I'm like, when are you going to get another recycled love story that looks like the same thing that they did 2 seasons ago? Like, to me, yes, you can do creative things with writing and you can make storylines interesting. If you're replicating the same storyline, like that show just, I'm using that one as a reference point because I've never watched Supernatural. I can't go to a point where I could say it was too much because I've never watched it. But Grey's Anatomy is something that some of my kids have watched and are like, I got to watch all of it. And I'm like, that show's terrible. Like, it's the same 5 storylines that they just keep recycling. Right. Where do you get to a line with any show? What's like, Manny, you said,
breaking point?
Yeah, what's your breaking point? You said, well, if you make another season out, and then you watched it anyway. Like, what's, like, Heather and Manny, what are your breaking points? Where do you go?
Like, too much. Where are you at? How do you decide?
I'll let you go ahead, Heather. Go ahead.
I broke it up. I mean, when I started watching it, I think I watched like a season or 2 and then I stopped. And then like a few months later, I'd be like, all right, I'll give it another shot. And I joined back in. I will say that like they definitely have better seasons and not so great seasons. And also
season.
like it just depends on the character. Personally, I loved Crowley, the demon.
Yes.
He's played by
Yes.
Mark Sheppard. I
Yes.
think Mark Sheppard is probably he's just an amazing actor. And I think he
Yes.
played that role so well that I think that like when they brought him in, he was definitely a guest star. And so like they kind of like, you didn't know when he was going to come back. Like it was like a tease. Like he was like, oh, he's in this episode kind of thing. You didn't know if he'd be in that. And he wouldn't be for like 2 or 3 episodes and then he'd be back again. And then he became a season regular. I feel like 9 or 10. Manny, do you know when?
About that range. Yeah.
He and I really loved when he was a regular because he brought a really good dynamic to the group. He really spiced things up with the brothers, with Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki, and also Misha Collins. Like it was better. And then we said goodbye to him. And then they brought someone else on, and it was on for me it was, I knew it was kind of getting towards the end when Mark Sheppard left. And so I think it was kind of like, well, I've invested this much time.
Right. And that's the thing is
it's too much, or do you like, I got to power through?
I liked on and off. I liked a lot of the season 13, 14, and then last one 15. But I also think part of it was also like, there were a couple that I was like, all right, I'm going to see this through. Like,
I have a question about so Crowley. So there's also Good Omens, which has a Crowley, which is David Tennant.
Also amazing.
Now, Mark Sheppard is a fellow heart attack survivor, and he had way worse than either of us.
He had a Widowmaker.
Where I had a Widowmaker too, but his Widowmaker was like, he got revived like something like 6 fucking times. Like
he did.
It's a miracle that guy survived. Like, I don't know how he survived. He was also in he was a big character in Firefly. He was in that. He's been on a million things. Like Daniel Fisher said, Mark Sheppard's the main thing. He's been in a million things, but like that guy being alive is like a borderline fucking miracle. Like just listening to his story about how he had to be revived multiple times, going to the hospital, and just like he should have been probably dead, and he survived. So like that guy, like shout out to Mark Sheppard. That guy, fucking good for you for being able to get through all of that and still be able to do the things you do. So.
Truly, yeah.
Like, so Crowley was basically the king of hell. Like he's who supplanted the devil when the devil was locked away, and he took over hell. So he was basically the devil at that time, but they called him Crowley, the king of hell. So his character was very much he was the person you love to hate, had a smart ass mouth, loved effing with people, like had his little hounds of hell and that were his little pets and stuff like it. It's obviously very supernatural based, but I like when you were talking about like what's enough is enough. I can notice when I'm getting to that point when I'm starting to gather more than one episode at a time to watch on my DVR. Like I'm not necessarily watching it the next day. It gets to the next week and maybe I have like 3 episodes and I'm like, all right, let me watch one of them so I can, get rid of this DVR space. Whereas
it's like a chore. It becomes a chore.
Yeah, like I'm basically watching it just because I'm invested, not necessarily because I'm excited about anything they're doing. And like, for instance, for Supernatural, like there's a lot of the seasons ebb and flow with one of the brothers doing what he thinks is best in this supernatural situation that puts him at odds with the other brother. And like that ends up happening like way too many times in every season, where it's like, bro, just kill your brother, man. Like let's let everybody go to hell together. And
aggressive? No.
But that's like almost like how many times are you gonna fight? But I guess it's again the eternal struggle of them thinking they're doing the right thing, and it's not necessary, and going off and trying to save the world by themselves, and ends up causing more chaos. And it's like, like I said, if I would recommend anybody, even really, like if you're into like religious stories and even just as studying wise, like that first 5 seasons is absolutely some of the best writing I've ever seen of anybody's interpretation of the Bible. Like, that's my personal opinion. Nobody has to agree with it, obviously, but I think it's a phenomenal, if you look at it from that scope, from that lens, I think he did a phenomenal job of like doing the whole monsters and all that and make it into, like, again, a version of the Bible. So,
and then just take everything and after that and just go watch The Boys, because Kripke just took the whole cast.
yeah, they're all going to be on it. Like, and there is an episode. There isn't, and I know she knows about. There's an episode in Supernatural that almost did homage to Negan of Walking Dead. It was the beginning of an episode. It was so brilliantly done. It was so awesome the way they did it. But that shows you, like, they all became this family, obviously, after like so many years of working together, and like they all end up showing up on each other's shows. And I'm hearing that a couple of them are supposed to be at the next, like I said, the next season of The Boys. Like, there's appearances, and I think that part's awesome to see too. Like, just seeing how, like, you hear about so many stories like Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd of like being at each other's throats on the show and didn't even talk to each other. Where like these guys actually like are like brothers. They were at each other's weddings. Their wives hang out together. Yeah. They go on vacations together on Instagram all the time, going on vacations together. Like, they're literally like brothers for real in real life.
Like, you can't separate that. Like, you can't even separate them. Like, you try to put them on other shows. And Jared's like, no, I'm going to bring Jensen over to direct. Yeah. And I'm like,
and they embrace it. Like, a lot of people, they struggle after a show like that and getting other jobs and struggle with being synonymous with those characters. And they've embraced it 100%. And I've met them once, and they were the nicest guys on earth the one time I met them both. Like, they were both down to earth, so cool. So that's always cool too.
Hey, was Carl Urban ever on Supernatural?
No.
Because he's part of he's what makes, like, there's so many things that make The Boys an excellent show. Like, it's so fucking good. I think my favorite part of that show is that a lot of the Republican conservative people didn't realize Homelander was the villain of the entire show.
Why
are you making him the villain? Like, he's been the villain since the first season of the fucking show. Like, where were you? Like,
Carl Urban is like the multiverse, like, he's the multiverse god. Like, he has been in like Lord of the Rings, Marvel, The Boy, like, you name it. Like, he's yeah. He's amazing.
Have you ever watched The Boys, Greg?
Nah.
Oh, you should. So good.
You watching naked people run around, but you're not watching The Boys. Okay.
Maybe a little warning of like graphic nature.
The boy I think I saw one episode and I was like, I'll get back to it, and I never did. So,
but that is
I do that a lot.
Almost every show, dude. You did that with The Expanse, which is the best sci-fi show I've ever watched.
I don't know
which one.
The Expanse.
Oh yes, that's a very good show.
I told you I'm a mess, but Manny, thanks for coming to talk about Supernatural. If we don't stop, y'all can stop talking about Supernatural for 2 more hours, it seems like. And that's not a bad thing, but we got to let Heather go at some point, y'all. Like, you can't just like.
Heather, you're awesome. I love all y'all, by the way. So love you guys.
Manny, don't leave yet, because Victor said congrats on your new show, so we need to hear about all that before you get out of here. So let's what's going on.
So it's crazy. It started off as there's a show on ESPN 1320. Like, what people don't realize sometimes, the local ESPN shows that you see in your areas aren't always necessarily a big part of Bristol, right? They're a local part of Odyssey, which is a big company. There's a local show on ESPN 1320. It's called the D'Lo and Casey Show. These guys are phenomenal. They have what's called a chatty house. We're one of the first people ever that I saw that did a radio show where they also did it on YouTube simultaneously and interacted with everybody that was in the chat room. And even on breaks, where most people on breaks, when they go on their little commercial breaks, they kind of go away from the screen, they would stay on and interact. And this group from the original group became what was called the Chatty House. And the Chatty House became almost like family. Like, people got to know each other, hang out in Sacramento together. When D'Lo and Casey would do live shows from different venues, everyone would show up and have a good time and hang out and watch Sacramento Kings games or 49er games or whatever was going on. And they went from being a 2-hour show to a 4-hour show to being the #1 sports station in Sacramento. And not only that, but they don't just talk about sports. Like, they'll talk about Seinfeld, they'll talk about wrestling. D'Lo has been a regular D'Lo was one of the hosts, has been a regular in Sacramento as like 25 years, legend in Sacramento. And so this chatty house became a thing, and he approached me. I've always interacting and giving them props and all that, and always suggesting them. So he was like, "You should start a chatty house podcast." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "You be the moderator. You're the one that's always the gift for gab." I'm like, "Okay." What I didn't realize was that I was setting it up on a regular StreamYard. Like, he's like, "No. We're gonna put you on our StreamYard. We're gonna put you on where you already have a fan base already in place, where when you go live, your views are gonna be at 300, 400, 500 people from the get-go on the ESPN 1320 Odyssey site," which was mind-blowing to me. I was like, "Bro, you don't have to do that. No, you guys made us who we are. We're gonna help you guys achieve what you want." And so that was it. That's where it launched, and we're on our second episode now. And literally the first episode, which is hilarious, and he'll say, is the first episode, we outdid YouTube views to other radio stations in Sacramento. Like, their shows were obviously bigger numbers, but comparatively to other radio stations, we outsaw them on their like little videos that they do on a daily basis, which is hilarious. But that's because they already have a built-in following. So it's a show. We talk about local sports. We talk about any issues going on, like if it's probably with the election coming up, I'm sure we'll talk about that. If there's any like what happened to Tyreek Hill, we talked about that. We talk about everything.
Awesome, man. Good for you, dude. I'm really happy for you, man.
Congratulations. That's
so
wild.
Where can we get that real quick?
You can go to the ESPN 1320 on YouTube or Twitch, and we're part of. They have all their shows on there. We're part of that too. We're part of the lineup. So
sweet.
It's called the Chatty House After Party.
Excellent. All right, Manny. Well, thank you. Thank you for jumping in here to talk
Thanks,
about
guys. Love y'all.
Supernatural, and we'll see you soon. You'll be back soon.
Yeah, you'll be
Absolutely.
back, man.
I'll be back with some
I
cereal.
promise.
Yes, both.
Thanks, guys.
Manny.
All right, cheers.
So, I think we're good on all that, right? Because I want to ask Heather a very, very important question.
Oh yeah, big question. Here we go, Heather.
Name one specific, and I want specific, Heather, thing that you got in trouble for in school.
We can't hear you talking if you're talking.
It's that mute
Right.
button. Sorry about that. I got in trouble for skipping. I would leave campus or not come to campus. And I would, we lived off of Anna Maria Island. Come on. Like, it's a beautiful island. If you Google Anna Maria Island, you will know why we skipped school.
Lauren's looking it up right now.
It's like, well, let's do it before I forget.
Anna Maria Island. We lived. I went to Manatee High School, and
you went to a high school named after the
Manatee
gentle sea cow.
Do you want to know our mascot's name?
It was not a sea cow.
Nope. It was a hurricane, and it was named. Ready
It had
for
a
it?
name.
It was named Billy Blowhard.
Oh
Billy
no!
Blowhard.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, Heather.
Oh, please tell me your other schools made fun of that. Like they had to.
Oh my God, it was horrible.
I mean, had we not decimated them because we were like a huge high school and like football and all that, had we not decimated them and like all the sports, probably, yeah. And they probably made fun of us even still. I would. I mean, we did. We made fun of our own mascot.
I mean, you have to, and to some degree, you're either going to be like the worst or you have to be the best.
Yes, there it is. I mean, we have in the yearbooks behind me, my husband and I went to the same high school. So we have, 2 copies of all the yearbooks.
Wait. Y'all are high school sweethearts?
Oh, that's adorable.
He sat behind me in world history honors in.
You both remember it?
Yeah. Yep.
Aw.
Yep. We started dating when we were 15 years old. Yeah.
So all right. Sorry, Greg. How long have you guys been together? If you start dating at 15?
Since 1999.
Ooh.
So
Prior to the
25
millennium.
years. 25
Before
years.
the
Good for you.
millennium. Y2K.
We got this.
Did you guys hunker down tonight in a bunker for Y2K or no?
No, I definitely, we weren't the type of people to be like worried about that. I was just kind of like, I mean, if it happens, it happens, you know. We're already in Florida. How bad could it be?
So we got one school skipper, Lauren.
I
definitely skipped school. Yeah.
That was your thing.
Yeah. We would just like not show up until like second or third period. And then we had a trigonometry teacher who would write us passes to our lockers.
What?
We didn't have lockers. He'd be like, yeah, here's a pass to your locker. When you come back, bring me a large fry. And we would.
Okay.
That's
leave.
a good teacher.
That's solid.
And we would come back. And, you know, with a large fry.
Yeah. Responsible. You're just a responsible teenager.
I mean, you would like legitimately see like the wet bathing suit under my clothing and be like, well, it's fine.
Not even sneaky.
I can still hear, it's like a core memory, the golf cart chasing us down over the gravel, like spinning out.
At your school, your Manatee Billy Blowhard school had a golf cart. It feels very on brand.
They had a golf cart security guard that would like chase you down. And we always had to take my car because I parked off campus because I was smart. Because if you parked on campus, there was a gate. And they wouldn't let you
get
out.
trapped.
Yeah. See, I parked like, you know, down the street at the church, and you could just leave whenever. So, bless. No, go get those fries. So
man, I'm not interesting. Greg, as soon as you put that, I was like, what did I get in trouble for at school? I'm not okay. I'm gonna think about this more, but like I don't even think I have a good answer. Like I'm not a goody two shoes, but I'm like
But you're a goody two shoes.
But like, I was a very responsible student. I got a honor
Translation: goody two shoes.
I got an honor certificate something once for like perfect attendance one year, like opposite of Heather apparently.
The opposite of Heather.
I'm gonna think about this. I'll let you know if I think of something, but I am not rebellious, apparently.
Oh, I have a couple.
Your turn. Tag, you're it. I've got nothing. I'm out.
All right, so I'm gonna start at elementary school. I have two major things. When I was in elementary school, I wanted so bad to get out to recess out in the yard. All right, time to get out. I sprinted my ass out to the
Foursquare tetherball.
It was like a macadam thing. We could play Foursquare and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out there and I was way ahead of everybody, and I had to pee so bad. I peed in a corner of the area that we had to play, and a teacher grabbed me and took me in because I was peeing. I was like in second grade because I was like, I wanted to get out so bad. I'm like, I'm going to get out. Oh, I'm first. Great. I can pee and nobody will know. And then I got out there and they just fucking took me because I was peeing.
You were just so excited for recess.
What was the punishment for that?
They told my parents, and my dad was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He didn't say the F-bomb, but he was like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Just pee before you go." It's fine. Well, I wanted to get out first, Dad. He's like, "I don't care. You need to pee first." All right, great. The second one is in high school, we had a chemistry teacher who notoriously did not read. any of the reports that you would give him. You would have to do your findings. You'd have to do, here's what I used. Here's, all the things. And this was my results.
Okay.
So yeah, I was manipeed off. Thank you. So we took it upon ourselves as juniors. We weren't even seniors yet. To write the most ridiculous fucking stories that we could to see if he would pick up on the fact that we weren't doing the reports.
Testing the waters.
And I was the only one who got caught.
What did you say?
So here's what I did. I wrote, all right, so you had to start with, here's the methods that I used. Here's the quote unquote ingredients or the
like materials and
materials I used. And I would do that. And then I did this whole thing about how I was high diving into a pool of marshmallow fluff. And I wrote that, and then I finished it with and here were my results. And I did the results of the experiment, which I actually did.
Okay.
And then this guy, the teacher's name was Marlon Horn.
Forever in your brain.
He was about 5'1", and he talked like this. And my name is Marlon Horn. And it was just like the most comical teacher you could ever have. And we had a class, and he goes, Mr. Ziegler, can I talk to you after class, please? Like, that's how he sounded. And I was like, all right, whatever. All right, Mr. Horn, great, I'll sit with you. And he goes, I would really appreciate it if you actually put in the time that you invested in making this ridiculous story into the work that you actually did. Because I see you used the right ingredients. You just decided to be ridiculous. So I am going to give you a C only because you made a great story. But otherwise, you need to really, that was what I got in trouble for. I was a fairly goody two-shoes in high school. There's one other one, very quick. I told Jill this today. I was terrible at any math that involved any letters, like anything. If it was not straight math, I was fucking out of my element.
Mm-hmm.
So
algebra.
Yeah, algebra, that fucking algebra. Anyway, so my best friend Oscar, that was his name. I worked on his farm, so we had a take-home test. At the night before I had to work, I worked at a fucking Hardee's.
Was he a grouch?
What's that?
Was Oscar a grouch?
He was a grouch.
No, he was not a grouch. He was not a grouch. He was actually a really nice guy. So anyway, I had to work, and I had to work at Hardee's, and they made me work the closing shift. So I got done with 12, and I'd drive 30 minutes home, and then I had to get up at 4 to go over and help him corral cows to go get milked. So that was what I did all the time. I didn't get paid to help Oscar. I just did that because he was my best friend. So he said, here, I did the test. Take my answers, just copy them. Fucking great. We're good. And I copied them, and then we got the test back. And when we got the test back, Oscar looked back to me and went, what'd you get? And I said, I got an 86. And he goes, what? He yelled in the middle of class because he got an 84. I literally copied verbatim what he did. That wasn't like the thing I got caught for. It was just something that was so ridiculous that I literally copied verbatim all his work and all his answers, and I got 2 points higher than him on the same test.
I don't like this. What is happening here?
So I heard indecent exposure. I heard forgery, and what was the other thing I heard?
And cheating. I cheated.
But also weren't necessarily caught.
That last one I was not caught.
Just
I got caught
shocked.
cheating, and then I got So I didn't get caught.
Lauren, if a tree falls in the wood, does it make a sound? I mean,
fair.
Maybe not. Greg, we didn't get to you, dude.
Yeah,
what was yours,
sir?
Sir.
Fess up.
So the one teacher had a real problem with people saying the word fart. She wanted you to say flatulent. So of course, you know what I did.
High school?
Yeah.
Really?
Mrs. Skinner.
Okay.
Mrs. Skinner was her name at William Allen High School in West End of Allentown. And yeah, she didn't like us saying fart. She didn't like that word. It was a bad word, she said. She wanted us to say flatulence. So of course, y'all know what happens next.
Everybody.
So here's the best story. My significant other, who I've had 2 kids with, who are 20 and 18, her dad was a science teacher at William Allen High School. I was the science kid. We had an experiment the one time where I think he brought out this little, if I remember correctly, he brought out this little like wood thing that had all the elements on it in like little vials. And they were all lined up in a very elemental way that of course he understood, but of course I didn't give a shit because I took all of them and pretty much played light bright with them, and I moved them all around to all they were supposed to be. Apparently he told us to keep them all in the same like pattern, like if you see
In
one
the
like,
periodic table.
yeah, but since I was that kid that could never sit the fuck straight, and that is really the answer to the question. I could never sit. So I always got in trouble for not paying attention, sitting. I was just all over the place. I didn't want to listen to you. I didn't want to sit in your fucking seats. I didn't want to be in the fucking room with you people. I didn't want to learn fucking crap from any of you. All of you are annoying. Why the hell am I here? I hate the lunches. I hate the teachers. I hate most of you. There's like two people that are cool, and the rest of you, I don't give a fuck. So I wasn't really teachable at many schools of my life. For some reason, y'all, I wanted to be a homeschooler. And then I find out that guess what happens, y'all? Your kids are like you. Yeah, I know. Heather, I know that's a big I know, right.
That apple rolled right to the bottom of that tree.
So yeah, I won't be ever doing that shit again. But no.
Sometimes it doesn't even leave. Sometimes it just hangs on the branch.
Literally, I won't. I'm not saying it in a negative way. Literally, I won't be homeschooling again. So we're good. But no, I was a troublemaker in that aspect where I wasn't listening. I didn't pay attention. I was all over the place. I wasn't really like, I had a negative view of like almost everything. It seemed like, but I wasn't like. I mean, looking back, it wasn't that bad. If that makes sense, you know what I mean. I wasn't skipping school, y'all. I wasn't indecent exposure. I wasn't cheating. I wasn't.
Six.
Now is the shaming part of our stream where that was all a setup, y'all, so I could shame you. No. It's cool. Like nobody, it's just funny looking back, like, especially if you have kids, looking back at the things that they're going through and then looking at the things that you did and you're just like laughing. Heather, you have any anecdotes for that one real quick?
No. I have two boys, and one is exactly like my husband, and the other one is exactly like me. We know which one we're saving for college and which one we're saving for bail money, so it's fine.
So you're the one like you is saving for bail money?
That bail?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Okay. I was like, so like, is your where's your husband go? Which direction?
My husband is the quiet, rule following. He's got joke. Like he's funny. He's got joke. Like he's quicker than I mean, he's quick. He's good. But he's not going to step out of line. And our older son is like that. Our older son is, he gets my older son is like my husband, and my younger son, like he does all kinds of things, and I just look at him and I'm like, ha.
You're like, I know what's happening. Okay, wait. I have a side quest. Okay, wait. So you and your husband, are you only children, or where do you fall in the birth order yourselves?
He's middle. He's a middle child. My family tree, huh? Was that
child rule follower? Makes sense.
He is the middle child, like to a T, like wants everyone to get along, all of that. I grew up most of my life as an only child, and then I was adopted by marriage when my mom married, and then I gained sisters, and then I'm one of those stories from 23andMe that I found my sisters when I was 37 years old. So I found my biological siblings later in life. So that's
experientially though solo.
So like, yeah. And I fit a lot of that, like only child. Yeah. Which is interesting because then my son that's like me is the second child, but he fits the the wild second child mentality. Like you really think you're nailing parenting with that first kid, and then you have a second one, and you're like,
oh, I'm really not doing this well.
oh, okay.
No one ever nails parenting. That's what I think.
We're all winging it. We're winging everything.
I mean, some of us do, but I don't know. You don't know. You don't find out that until
you don't know in the moment.
It's so late. It's so late. Yeah.
I mean, I think Scott and I know in the moment that we're just like, yay us.
Yeah. And I'm proud of my kids, but I don't even know how much I have an effect on that. You know what I mean? On some levels, like y'all might have been brilliant without me. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Like you're like shocked. You're like, oh my god, they turned out fine.
How did that happen?
Was that my fault? Like, did I actually do that?
Goody.
Goody.
What we actually did was have a really good time tonight.
Yes.
Heather, we would like to. We've been here. Actually, time flies when you're having fun. But man, it's time for us to jet out here on a Friday. We want to thank you, Heather, for your for stopping in, as we always say.
Yes, please.
And I don't know if you want to say any final words, if you want to talk about Summit or you want to talk about these hot guys. I mean, I don't know. We did for a while. Sure,
Something else.
We need to find. Y'all can find Heather on Twitter, and then I heard Instagram, right?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram too. H Pavich. Just H in the last name. But yeah, thank you guys for having me on. It's been fun. And if anyone has any questions along the lines of behavior therapy, feel free to reach out to Kim and I. We're happy to help. Everything else, just shoot it my way because my business partner is not on social media at all. So she is just like, you have fun with that.
And where are you located again?
Questions, please go to see Manny. Go see.
Right. I love the delegating and resourcefulness that's going on right now.
Yeah, business.
Heather, where are you located again? Where's Summit located, or what area do y'all service?
We're in Central Florida, so we are serving clients face to face in Central Florida. However, if you think that it's something we can help you with telehealth or remotely, we would be happy to help and consult with you. Shoot us an email.
Look at that! Yeah. All right,
not all like that.
Well. On that note, we have one more thing. Doug, real quick. I don't know if you want to talk about that. Heather, if you want to hang out in the green room for us, we'll be available. If not, we will thank you again. Heather, what did you have to drink?
I finished my Negroni and then some.
And bonus Negroni.
Well, I had a backup filler.
Did you have the Negroni with
reserves?
What's the meme with Spagliato?
Oh yes,
with
Prosecco.
With Prosecco. Oh, brilliant!
Oh yeah,
brilliant. No, I just made like a triple Negroni in here, and so like throughout the podcast, you might have
Heather, you are after our own hearts here on the show.
You might have noticed, like as I was drinking. Like, the liquid was like varying and like how did it
a never-ending glass? That's amazing.
We're gonna circle back.
She rolls like we do.
It's magic.
Yeah, magic.
Yes. Heather, we'll get you back on and recap and and talk about what you're doing and keep doing the good work. We're proud of you as friends and
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a good night. Thanks.
Cheers, Doug. What's the I have 3 solid beers, y'all. Kid Kolsch, Black Boot. Kid Kolsch and Black Boot are absolutely 2 bangers. And this is a pretty good one, y'all. And I just got one of these. I like the size of it. I think it was like $3.50 or something. Nice for a little nice IPA. So from Sierra Nevada. I get Sierra Nevada to Belgium mixed up all the time now. But anyway, Doug, what you have?
All right, I'm going to start with Lauren because I want to see what her opinions are.
I don't know. Y'all. Let me caveat this. I'm working off 2 hours sleep and not food before this. But I might honestly, I'm generally dark beer, and I'm confused because I might just go in order of what we had, but maybe it's because it's the order we had it. I don't know. But like, I'm gonna go, we have so we can, I'm gonna do this one first. It was actually tasty. I'm not always into IPAs because there's a huge spectrum, but this one was tasting very
It's a
drinkable.
double IPA, so it's a bit.
That one was solid. That was solid. Not overly bitter. And then this one, just because like this weird and interesting beverage. It's I can't let go of its like interestingness. And like I do love a dark beer. And also I'm just like, ooh, I am feeling the darker beer. It's less ABV, but like it's the end and it's happening and it's solid, but those were interesting. So that's where I'm at. Where are you at?
All right. So I'm going to start with, if I'm going to do my favorite to least favorite starting, and least favorite's this Denugzinger double IPA from Drake's. It was super good double IPA. That was 9.75. This is a tie because the reason is this is such an interesting beer. This Viking ale with the juniper and everything. This is fucking just really super interesting and tasty. But this ossuary, which we didn't get to talk about, this is a robust porter from Ghost Town Brewing, which is like a mile and a half from where we're staying. Super close. Like Lauren came and joined us at that place. We had some food there. The food was excellent. I've actually had ossuary before. I had it on the show before. I found it at a place near me.
Shocking.
Which is really shocking because this is not a giant brewery. This is a small brewery in San Francisco area. I remember it because I remember the font and the skulls because I was like, this is super cool. Ghost Town, just all their beers are just kind of themed with sort of occult, dark stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, this is really good. The dark porter. We have one more porter in the fridge. You can take one. I gave one to Jake too, but these were all good. We didn't have a bad beer amongst it. To me,
no, I like all of them. And the was it Bear Tent or whatever?
Bear Tent.
Bear Tent one. Just again, like it's the fact that it's just like I've never tasted anything like this. I'm like, what am I tasting?
This is
like,
the
what
most
is going on.
So I'm going to tell you, there was one beer I've had that reminded me, just a complete uniqueness of it was the North Brewery, which RIP. North Brewery is my favorite brewery that was closest to be closed. And I'm a little sad about that. They made a taco beer that tasted like tacos, and I don't know how to explain it. It is the oddest beer. I know you can say that. This isn't like that. Like, this is something I would drink again, whereas a taco beer was not something I would ever drink again. This is just so unique and interesting. And I remember Joel and I having it be like, holy shit, this is so different. So yeah, this is really, really good.
Like, I don't know if it wasn't my like general palate choice, but I'm just like it like jarred me out of the norm of like what is happening, and like I had to like focus, which was super interesting to me.
Yeah.
Excellent. And what we hope will be super interesting is next week's show. We got Oktoberfest. We're not going to see Doug in the Lederhosen, I don't think, but I would welcome it actually.
Maybe
we might have pretzels, we might have sausages, we'll probably have beer, and yeah. Who's talking? I didn't do that.
That was me. I was implying to Daniel about having a barley wine this late.
No.
Daniel, man.
You're cosplaying. That's what you're doing. Anyway. All right, y'all.
I don't have a choice.
You're cosplaying. You know you want to be me, Doug. Next Wednesday is Badger Beer Hour. It's we try to do it every third Wednesday, but we've been doing it every fourth Wednesday because of scheduling conflicts. Next week, y'all, we got a fun interview with Analo from Central Waters Brewing Company. Anybody from Wisconsin knows Central Waters Brewing Company. They are easily, I can firmly say, one of our top 3 breweries. I can't say number 1 because there's a new Glarus. These new Glarus people are around being number 1. But Central Waters is one of the next breweries next. We have a nice interview for y'all.
Why is this
And yeah.
Why?
So,
Why?
Go ahead, Manny.
yeah, so Daniel was saying he's going to open a barley wine, and apparently I was saying get it. And then Daniel says, "Thank you, Greg Lauren. It's cool." Yeah. Oh, it's still there. All right, y'all. Next week we'll have Oktoberfest. And we'll talk about the Cold Bar next week, Doug. But that'll be coming in 2 weeks.
Yes.
But Oktoberfest next week. We should have some special guests, or we may not. Doug and I may be the special guests, but you'll have to tune in to find that out.
Sort it out.
Gotta keep it spicy.
And on that note, Doug and Jill, travel safe. Lauren, it's always wonderful to hang out with you.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I am so glad. This is the first time Lauren and I have seen each other since Dad 2.0 in 2020.
Pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic.
Well, it's the first time that y'all have touched each other since then.
That's true. Seen each other in 3D.
Yeah, because I just saw Lauren right now.
Seen y'all in a virtual manner.
But if I was in the room with Lauren, there would have been a hug involved already, if not more than one. So
I'm into it.
This one. Anyway, have a great weekend, y'all. It's one of the last summer weekends. I don't care what science says. It's still summer to me. So y'all have a good one. See you soon next week.
Bye.